Warning, if you're faint of heart or easily offended, this show is not for you.
I don't want to go online. I got you here.
My casino records have been released, like live.
So if they've been released, why not say it?
I beat Vegas in the last 24 months that I played. I beat them for a little over 30 million.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I
know, it just sounds weird. I don't,
I'm asking. It's not like you're bragging. Yeah. If they're public records, like, this is what we're here for.
I beat them suckers.
Yeah, okay, see? Tell the truth. There you go. All right, well, welcome to the Nick Vertucci Show. I am Nick Vertucci, and I am here with Mikki. Mikki, how are you?
I'm good.
Hey, listen, man, the people that have been watching my podcast have been asking for you, like when they say, hey, can you get this person, your name always comes up. You're finally here. I contacted you a few days ago. We kind of booked this thing pretty easy, and I'm excited. Dude, we got a shitload to unpack here. Like a shitload. I've been, for those of you watching and obviously know who Mikki is, you know that there's all these outrageous stories about him. I asked him to send me some information because I got to have some information on this cat, right? And you sent me a bunch of stuff, but nothing really, you've been reluctant to tell me anything about you that's in the positive. So you actually put me to the test, and I've now watched all these YouTube videos. We'll get to them. Did research. I've read a bunch of articles. So I have a bunch of stuff here that I want to go over. Of course, whatever is true, you let me know. Whatever is not true, you let me know. And I'll do my best to get it all out. So the first thing I have here is, were you, and I'm going to try to go back as far as I can of shit that I found. You were expelled in high school?
Yeah, I was expelled from so many schools that they ended up putting me in those, what do they call those, like special schools where you call the teacher by their first name?
Yeah.
And even those I got expelled from.
Why, though?
I was just like a pretty reckless kid. I was like, reckless without abandonment. I was just, I don't know. I just always had this like incredible like energy inside of me. It was like almost like in my brain that I didn't know how to like cope with or whatever. So I would just like, I would try anything as I got older to like relieve myself of this energy. And a lot of times it was just like physical acting out, like it's fighting or, like selling drugs, like whatever it was, just like this, like, I just wanted to constantly be in motion, try to get my brain always working.
What were you looking to? Were you looking to challenge authority, or did you have a chip on your shoulder? Like, energy is one thing, but you could use energy for positive, right?
I could, and I did a lot. I did like create some like pretty big accomplishments in my life, even in my childhood.
Yeah.
And in my adulthood, which is like what brought me to like this
sure
level of publicness or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, like nobody can explain to me. I couldn't even explain the feelings that I had.
Yeah.
And so nobody can tell me, oh, this is how you can fix it. They're like, oh, just study really hard and all that energy will be like circumvented into, educational success or whatever it is, academics.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell me that. So I would try anything. Sometimes it was like, physically fighting. Sometimes it was like I would just like yell or talk.
So you were just trying to figure something out, but you didn't know what it was.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
had something in there that you just couldn't contain and that you couldn't understand.
Correct.
The maturity, like growing up, getting older, life experience, has that like helped you figure it out? Like, how did that change? Was there a pivot point?
Well, I used to like party a lot, use substances and drink too much, stuff like that. I can tell you, I use that as a way to try to like numb down like the noise and the energy in my head to try to like numb me out a little. And that worked, but then it got me in other types of trouble that were natural to that lifestyle. It wasn't even like this energy anymore getting me in trouble. And then when I dried out, I'm straight edge now. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I don't even say
nothing.
I don't even say curse words. I don't go to strip clubs. I don't eat sugar. I don't drink caffeine. Nothing.
No shit.
Yeah.
When did you pivot to that complete straight edge?
What's today's day? I think tomorrow.
What is today, so we can let them know when we're doing this?
Today is December 10th.
10th, okay.
And tomorrow will mark 7 years exactly, actually.
That you've been straight edge like that?
Yeah.
And what was the pivot point? You just said, I want to be different.
I was just so beat down.
Yeah.
I had like, ran full speed head first into a wall.
Yeah.
The first time, and I'd be like, oh, that sucks. I shouldn't do it again. And it was almost like I forgot the pain of running into that wall. So I would do everything that brought me back and run back into it. And I'd be like, okay, I got to stop. And eventually I just was so beaten down by banging my head. I was just like, something has to change.
Yeah, just you had that pivot point where you're just like, it's this or that, right?
Right.
And you were a motocross racer. Is that were you toying with that recently?
Yeah, I just shattered my collarbone. Actually, you want to see it? The bone's sticking out.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Here, look. Can you see from here? That's the bone right there.
What? How old are you?
I usually don't say my age, but
Can you get a range?
I'm between 25 and 35.
You're like a chick. Why don't you say your age? You don't have to say it, but what's your purpose?
This whole like being a public figure thing is still really new to me. I was always super private my whole life, which was an interesting take when I joined social media and I went so viral so quickly and like this fame came.
Yeah.
It was like people couldn't believe it. It was like we never heard of him before. Like how can all of a sudden he be so successful? Where was his come up?
This is a bunch of cap. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Right. So I was.
Is it okay if I cuss?
Yeah, I don't care. Okay. Yeah. And it was like this. For me, it came so fast, so big, so heavy. I was like, I don't know where I'm comfortable yet. Yeah. I use like my nickname. My nickname is Mickey, right? So that's been my nickname since I was a kid. So I still go by that. So not, my real name's not hard to find. Like it's like I put it out there before.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it.
Yeah. So
you can say it if you want. If not, I don't care. Doesn't matter.
No, I'm still working on where I'm comfortable, where I'm not. So, before social media, nobody knew my name. Nobody knew my age. Nobody knew what city I lived in. Nobody knew anything. And that's where I was comfortable. Yeah. And now it's like so much so fast. It's like overwhelming. I'm still trying to get there.
But the weird thing is, and this is just a read. This isn't from you. A weird thing is, though, there's a part of you that is leaning into this popularity. So it's not like you're just trying to dodge it. You are leaning into it, but you're saying you're leaning into it for whatever purposes that you have. We'll talk about it. But as you lean into it, you're like, oh shit, I don't know if I love part of this.
Yeah, it's so weird about this that I never really thought about is like a child star. I only watched as a consumer them ruin their own lives and do crazy things and then grow up and then be this, be that. I didn't realize till now people grow, right? And they change, especially a child star. So they're not realizing or prepared for the whole world to hold every decision they ever make against them. So now, like when I first started Instagram, I had less than 1,000 followers. I just started. And to me, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like 700 people know who I am. Like these are all my friends or distant friends of friends. I could say anything I want because we're just friends. But then, 2 years later, and I'm doing like, an interview for TMZ or whatever it is. And somebody says, hey, in 2000, whatever, didn't you have this opinion, but now you're saying this? And I'm like, well, man, that was a few years ago. I changed my mind, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really hard to change your mind.
So once something's out there, you say it, or the first thing that someone thinks or says or you do, it's like locked.
Yeah,
even
exactly.
though it's not.
Yeah, exactly. In real life, we all change,
Yeah,
like,
so true.
Yeah, we
God,
grow
that's
up.
So true.
Yeah, we grow up, but what's out there on the internet and in the existence of the realm, like that doesn't, like that will always be there,
Yeah, and it's funny because, like, before I started Hustler Casino Live a year ago, I played a little bit on Live at the Bike and got a little bit of exposure, but I was just a happy wreck on a Friday or a Tuesday and doing my thing, running my businesses. And then, one of my dreams and goals was just to start a poker show. I have done that, and one of my other goals was to start the #1 poker show out there in the world. And I have done that.
Yeah, congratulations.
But, thank you very much. Yeah. But here's the rub. Like you say, I wasn't prepared for people now seeing me, knowing who I am, because you get people, I know this, that you walk around, hey, thanks for the show, I'm so happy, and then I just have so many people just bashing the shit out of me for whatever reasons, right? This point or that point or what. So kind of like you, like I leaned into wanting to do this, and then I wasn't prepared at all, because I don't know about you, and I've said this before, I'm really kind of sensitive when it comes to some of that stuff. Yeah. And at the same time, and I know you've mentioned this, I really don't give a fuck, but part of me does. So there's this weird pull, this dichotomy that fights against each other, and it sucks.
That's exactly the right word to use, the dichotomy. It's like, I always felt like I don't care. Like I really just don't, right? I feel like I live on this level of this plane of existence that most people will never ever experience. They'll never be in certain rooms that I'm in, right?
Yeah.
And they'll never know what it's like. So why would I ever care? But sometimes something inside of me is like, hey man, I don't know why you don't like me, like that's not nice to say that about me, and it hurts my feelings. Nice. Yeah, it's just not nice.
Yeah.
And then internally I have this weird conflict, like, do I care? And if I don't care, then why do I feel sensitive to it? Why do I care if they're not nice?
I swear, same.
Yeah.
So it's a weird thing. Something else I looked up or someone mentioned to me, and I don't know if you said it on a show, I don't know if this is true, and this makes sense to me, because a lot of kids and a lot of even people that have a past like you, they're fucking highly intelligent. And is it true that like you scored, I think it was somewhere in high school, of like the top 0.01% of like genius level?
Yeah, I did. There was 2 articles written about this, actually.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to like discuss. But yeah, I mean,
I'm bringing it up. I know. By talking to you a little bit and trying to get some info out of you, you were very reluctant to brag. To be honest with you, so I'm pulling a lot of this out of you. So if I ask it and it's true, like, lean into it, because it's an interesting thing. You know, you don't look like someone that would be a genius. No offense.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that, I mean,
that's
so
fair.
You just never
fair.
know, right?
Yeah. So I took all the tests, and they all came back with high IQ and high intelligence. Yeah. Genius. Yeah. Genius. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah, so that's cool. I said it, not you, so don't sweat it.
Yeah.
So something else, that you obviously were arrested young, you were incarcerated.
Yeah, I was a
that's
troublemaker.
Cool. Yeah, troublemaker.
Yeah.
But while you were in jail, you got your GED and you applied for a bunch of colleges. So
yeah.
Is that when you said, "Oh shit, I should like change some things"?
Nah, I wish, bro. Listen
no,
to
it wasn't.
This,
you weren't ready yet. But why'd you do that then?
So I had for like high school, I was accepted and to go to Rutgers Preparatory School, and I just couldn't behave long enough to get in there. You know, I was there, like I was in, and I just couldn't keep it together. And everybody was like, we're gonna light this up on fire. And everybody around me was like, hopefully he just like behaves before he has to go to college, before university. But if he blows this up at Rutgers Preparatory School, he's gonna have a lot of trouble in college. So they're like, let's keep him out of there for high school. So if he keeps getting in trouble, it's like less people will know about it. And come college, hopefully I clean up and whatever. So instead I ended up getting incarcerated. So I had skipped the initial college phase. Mm-hmm. I didn't graduate high school. And I was incarcerated, and I was in there for a little while. And this particular time I was on a parole violation. And I was like, bro, like, I was just like, all my friends are in college, are all in university. They're all, wherever they're at. And I'm like, here in jail. You know, and I'm just like a kid. And
how old were you at that moment?
I was 19. Okay. I was 19. I was 19. I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm a teenager. I'm 19, and I'm around all these like 50-year-old men, incarcerated, whose whole life they spent in there, and like that was it for them. And
it's a wake up moment, huh?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I'm not saying you changed your whole life right there, but it's something you noticed.
It was something I noticed enough to take action.
Yeah, some clarity about, whoa, this could be my life.
Right. So while I was in there, I didn't graduate high school like regular. So I said, okay, I want to go to college. I want to be a normal kid. And I thought like going to college would like fix me.
Yeah.
So I took it upon myself. I went to the law library. I was getting books, and I was studying the GED test.
Right.
They're big pushers of the GED, in the institutions.
Yeah, they want to have stats like they're rehabilitating and all that.
Right.
Shit. Yeah.
So that part was easy for me to get a hold of the literature.
Yeah.
So I studied, and I took my GED, and I passed. I took my SATs, and I passed. I got don't quote me, but I think I scored a 1600 on my SATs. And I also think this is before they have now I think most of the kids are going to think like that's regular. But if you remember when you took your SATs, it was only at a 1800. Now they do it at a 3200 or something like that.
Yeah, I get it.
So I scored something like a 1600 on the SATs, and I applied to 5 universities, and I did get accepted to all 5 of them.
No shit.
Yeah, I went to the parole board, and I tried to get re-paroled, and they all turned me down. So
even with the I'm going to go to college thing.
Yeah, I was pretty reckless. I would show up to parole hearings with like black eyes. Like I was still a troublemaker, but I had like aspirations,
Yeah.
But what I had to do is interesting because I couldn't have the university seeing like the jail address, you know? They couldn't like send it to such and such institution care of,
Yeah,
you know?
cell block number 8.
Yeah, exactly. So what I used to do is I would get my grandfather would be like the intermediary. So he would receive all the paperwork as me to his house, forward it to me, you know, and I would send it back to him.
Totally.
So the stampage was always of residence.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
but I got accepted to all 5, but I didn't get reparoled. Yeah.
How many months or years did you do of jail in your whole life?
Not too many. I did maybe like I think I served 3.5 or 3.25, 3.5 years.
3.5, yeah.
Yeah.
It's still long. I mean, I know it's not like 15, 20, 30 years, but like 3.5 years to sit in one place, man.
The bigger issue for me is if you look at it at a percentage base based on my life, when I was that young, like I did 364 days when I was 15. So at 15 to do a year, that's a 15th of my life. You know what I mean? And, you know, so 3.5 years by age, whatever I was, 21, you know.
That's a good chunk.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And so I'm trying to piece these things together that I found out about you, and if they go in different order, just correct me. But then I think from there, you got out and you moved on to New Jersey with a cellmate, and you started selling some things.
Yeah, I think I talked about this in my first No Jumper interview.
Yeah.
So my bunkie, rest in peace. He had died a few years, not too long ago. So he and I got really close in there, and when we both got out around the same time, we moved in together. We moved into the, you know, he was from the ghetto. I moved back into the ghetto. I was like, I didn't come from the ghetto, so I was like in and out of that by choice. You know, most of my life until
you moved with him into the ghetto.
Yeah,
and started trapping.
We started trapping, yeah. So we were just trapping. You know, we were committing crime and getting by and hustling.
Weren't you afraid to? Just a straight question. Weren't you afraid to come out of jail and do that, knowing what it felt like to be in jail? Like, you know, that's usually when you come out and go, shit, I don't want to do that again. Like, how do you take that risk being on parole and like I don't get it. I mean, for me, I don't get it. I know it happens every day, but I'm just wondering what the mindset is of that, because I know if I spent a year in jail and I got out, like I would probably be thinking I got to do everything never to go back in there.
I knew that I had above average intelligence, and I think that got me in trouble a lot. Like I knew going into it that I was going to probably be the most intellectual of all the drug dealers, right? And I really thought that was going to lead me to success. My biggest issue, I didn't get caught. It wasn't like, you know, that.
Did you think you were too smart to get caught?
Yeah. Okay. My father used to say I'm too smart for my own good all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and I was also young and dumb. So
combination.
So no matter, exactly. You know what I mean? Like inexperienced of life.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had, you know, the stats of genius intelligence. Like I knew these things, and going into there, I thought that I can outsmart the system. I can find a way to be above it all.
Totally.
Not realizing that this thing has been proven for so many years. Like the feds have been prepared, you know, for every caliber of person committing crime. You know, there's like a very textbook version.
If you thought it, they've thought it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's actually not what happened. What happened was, you probably, you know, like Biggie says, rule number 4. You know, heard this before: never get high on your own supply. And you know, I fell victim to that, and that's really what brought me down. It wasn't the feds. But
what
then
was your drug of choice?
I sort of liked everything. I don't want to get into too much graphic detail, but I had a very powerful combination of choice.
Okay, but you don't want to say what it is.
No,
it's okay.
I think it's too aggressive. It's too like flagrant.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool. And how long did that last, and why? And then you wound up on Wall Street, but how do you transition from selling drugs to going on Wall Street? Like I don't get it.
Yeah,
explain it to me.
I again decided to try to clean up my life, so I moved on.
What was the pivot point, and how long did you sell drugs in New Jersey? And then when did you say, I'm gotta now change again? Why, and when?
Well, I started selling drugs in New Jersey when I was 12, and when I left from the trap and headed to New York, I was
But from what I understand, you got out of jail and went with your cellie and started selling in Jersey. So how long did you do that, and why did you stop?
Maybe for about a year. We lived together running that trap, and I just had this moment of clarity. I remember specifically There's a lot of people downstairs, and I went up to my room and I laid down for like 2 seconds, and I like sprung up, and just something, I said it out loud even though I was in my room alone, and I said, I need to get the F out of here. And I don't know where this voice came. I don't know like where it came. It was just like this weird moment where I just was like, I was like, this is just not it.
You were done with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I called my boy Frank, and I said, Frank, it was like the middle of the night. I said, Frank, I need you to come pick me up. I'll pay you like you don't even believe. I'll pay you in drugs if you want. I need you to come get me right now. And he came and he picked me up, and we didn't know where we were going. I didn't like have like family like in my corner. I didn't have this, and so we just started driving back to his town. And I knew someone who lived not far from there that I used to party with, and I called him, and he happened to be up. And his name's Lance. I said, Lance, can I come over till I figure something out? Yeah. He goes, whatever you want, bro. So I came. I paid everybody. Like everybody was happy to have me.
Yeah.
The next day came, and that was sort of like the mark to like getting onto like cleaning up again.
That's cool. And then from there you wound up on Wall Street, or was there something in between?
I don't remember exactly. I'm trying to think.
How old were you when how old were you, and how did you wind up in a situation like that from your past? How'd you wind up on Wall Street? Some kid who wound up in jail and then selling drugs, and now you're on Wall Street. How does that happen?
So I got into this house. It was like a halfway house in Montclair, New Jersey. And when I was in there, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew like I had to pay rent. They like gave me some grace period. I had some cash, and they were like, you have to get a job and you have to like do all these things.
Yeah.
So I was just sitting on my phone, and I was just like looking for work. And I didn't know. I just started calling everybody. And I called this place called Wallace Morgan. Like I didn't even know anything. They answered, and they said, no problem. What's your experience? And I probably kind of talked my way through it. And they said, let's do a phone interview. I did a phone interview. They said, okay, awesome. Can you come in for an in-person interview? I said, fine. They sent me the location, and it was 60 Exchange Place. For anyone who doesn't know New York, that means Wall Street. Like Wall Street's an actual street. This is called Wall Street, right? Yeah. So, and Wall Street has all these intersections in the financial district, and one of them is Exchange Place. So the building's at 60 Exchange Place, which I already know means Wall Street. It's a financial district. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is kind of crazy. And I go in there. I put on like a button down and some slacks and whatever, and I obviously have face tattoos.
I was gonna say you had all these tattoos.
Not all of these, but I definitely had I had neck, face, and hands for sure. A little bit less, but definitely had some. There, yeah. It was still there, yeah. And I showed up, and there was like a team leader. His name was Raymond, and then there was like a division supervisor. I forget this kid's name. I think it might have been Will, some Asian guy. I forget. And I did my initial thing with Raymond, and Raymond's like, you're great, but I don't see how we're going to make this work.
What was this? Did they know that you were a criminal in the past?
No.
Did they have that information?
No.
So
either they didn't ask or I lied, but they didn't know.
Yeah. So why wouldn't it work out? Was it the appearance? Because it's a phone gig, right?
Yeah, well, they're like, they're like, at the time, I was still a kid. They're like, you're a kid. You have face tattoos. You have no actual experience. You just have this raw talent. And they're like, there's other people that have similar talent that meet the rest of the criteria.
Yeah. They were afraid to take a chance on you.
Yeah, they're like, we're probably gonna have to pass and take a safer bet. Someone that checks all the boxes.
Totally.
Yeah, and I really spoke to Raymond. The thing with Raymond, I think I got lucky. He before working at this firm, he started as a kid. He was a barber, started his own barber shop, had a few of them, and then one of his barber shops he converted into a tattoo shop. This is before he was working for the firm while he was still young. So he was like pretty hip to the fact to look past him.
He had to like check his boxes, but he kind of resonated with him.
Exactly.
Got it. You got lucky.
Yeah, exactly right. So I think I lucked out, and I think I like really had a place in his heart. And he's like, he saw the talent, or he believed that I had talent.
Yeah.
And, me and him talk like at length, and he goes, I don't know, man, but regardless, there's a series of interviews. You don't just get the job. I said, fine. So I went home, and he called me like however next day or whatever, and he goes, can you come in for another job with the supervisor? I didn't tell him any of your downfalls yet, Mm-hmm. I said, okay. And I came in, and he was like, looking at me.
Seeing you walking in, he's like, oh, man.
Yeah, he's like, let's make this fast, kid. I got important people to see. But by the end of the interview, he was really like, wow, like you might.
He was leaning into you because he started liking you.
Yeah. Him and Will, whatever his name is, I think it was Will. And Will and I talked at length, and what we figured out was they hired a makeup artist every morning to meet me, cover everything with makeup, and then at the end of the day, the makeup artist comes back and takes it all off for me.
Wasn't your job over the phone?
No, so I actually was doing outreach. I was going out to the businesses and acquiring clients.
I got it. Yeah, no wonder. Because I was going to say
they were sending me in the street every day.
Did it look like you didn't have tattoos when they were?
Yeah. It looked fine. I just looked like a
you had to
nice
do that
young man
every day.
Well, they hired somebody, but yeah, every single day.
Wow,
every single day. And there's even more like cool like little intricacies to the story. But what ended up happening was my numbers were so outrageous immediately. They were like, what happens in the morning in the office? I have to come to the office every day to put on the makeup, of course, but there's team meetings. There's like, today's agenda and who's got which clients and who's going to what borough and who's doing this.
Yeah.
But my numbers were so outrageous. They would just start emailing me the portfolio and say, just go in the field and do what you do.
Even without the makeup?
So I started doing it with no makeup and it was still working. Everything was fine.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's a real indication of don't judge a book by its cover. And because, in society, everyone wants you to live within this box. The box could be appearance. It could be what you do in high school after, that type of thing. And, I've been trolled recently because, and this is a perfect example of what this means. You broke most of the rules and you found a lot of success. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so... it's really funny because like 7 years ago, I had a social media company that put something up for my real estate company. It said, successful people break all the rules. It's basically just making this point, like you got to go outside of the box to find success. If you follow society's game plan, you're going to be average, right? In my opinion, and I've always thought that too. So I've had somebody recently that's been kind of coming after me, send that around. They've put it on their show. They have a big poster up of it trolling me. But you're a perfect indication of that that quote. So good for you, man. And then you at some point went to Florida and started businesses.
Yeah, I went to Florida. So even when I was working on Wall Street, initially it was like, I'm trying to go on the right path and dry out and stuff like this. It didn't really stick. I went back to the non-dry life, and at some point I make it back to Florida, and that was again to try to clean up. And while I was there, this was like following the Wall Street. That was probably like my last gig I think I had before inevitably making it to Florida. And I just started some sales companies. It was a couple of routes. So in the beginning, I was just a day laborer. I just needed work. I needed money, stuff like that. So I was just a day laborer, whatever. And what happened was the guy I was working for, like painting houses and rehabbing the houses, he took a contract with a bunch of sober livings. When we finished rebuilding all their buildings, the sober living came to me. They knew I was trying to fix my life and like dry out and stuff. They said, "You're out of work now, huh?" I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Do you want a job with us in-house?" And I was like, "I don't know what you guys doing there. I'm just some kid that's like a day laborer, basically."
Right.
And they said, "If you work half as hard in here as you did out there, you'll be fine." And I was like, honestly, if you're willing to take the liability of hiring me, I need the money. So they took me in, and I ended up excelling there as well. Yeah. And then I grew through the rehab space. While we were doing that, I had like this think tank. It was basically just a small office. And what we did was the entrance, which would sort of be like the Sally port or where the secretary would sit, whatever. And it has all these separate offices like on the side. We actually reversed it. So me and my two partners put our office, our 3 desks together in what would be like the lobby of our office, and we just retrofitted all the other offices with phones and computers and cubicles and stuff like that. And we use it as our think tank. So the 3 of us came through the same industry, so we're like, how can we just be better, right? Well, while we were doing it, we just came up with other random ideas in our downtime. Like, yo, do you think it'd be cool if we sold watches? And we'd be like, well, any of 3 of us have a watch plug? And one of us would be like, oh, I know a guy who can get me cheap watches, right? Yeah. And we'd be like, oh, well, can anybody sell the watches? Like, do we have customers? Like, we don't know. Let's find out. So we'd buy some leads. We'd stick one of our friends on the phone over there. We'd pay them, for a day or a week or a month, whatever it took, until we got some data back. Are we capable of successfully and profitably selling watches? And when we did this think tank started into a sales company.
Yeah, so you started sales rooms.
Yeah, sales, exactly right. So that's what we did. We started sales rooms almost by accident. And we just kept
that's
finding new widgets. That's how most
businesses start, this organically, like, hey, man, wonder if I could do this.
Yeah, and so we just kept selling widgets. What was really good for us was we were selling the sales rooms, right? So we'd come up with the proof of concept, like, hey, by using this manufacturer and this distributor, using these leads, this is your market. We created a sales pitch. Here's the numbers to show the profit you'll make, based on a per agent per day basis. And we'd sell that concept to other sales companies.
And it started, and you did well for a while. I mean,
We did
doing
well, and that's what it turned into pharmacies. So we started building and selling pharmacies.
How did that turn into pharmacies?
It was just one of the things. It was like this concept that we can put pharmacies into medical providers, right? Because we worked in the medical space, in rehab space, stuff like that.
Right.
So we knew we're like, well, all these rehabs, like us, like some of us owned rehabs, we're paying like CVS, we're paying whoever for different types of medication for all the patients, right? Like, why are we paying them? We're already a medical provider. Why don't we just license a pharmacy within our location and we can distribute the medication as well as bill the insurance carriers?
So now you started legally selling pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, you had a background in it. It makes sense. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well,
that's good.
But I will tell you this: what we ended up finding out was that those are called retail pharmacies, where you sell like medication. They're actually the least profitable, and they're the only way you make money is through real bulk amount of patients. Like, a lot of people have to come in and buy medications, like CVS and whatever.
Yeah.
And all these conglomerates, they found a way to monopolize the market, and it became really, really difficult to navigate as like an independent, like a mom and pop store, right? And you're not making money on the pills or the medication. You're making money on rebates given to you by the pill manufacturers, right? So they're all offering you deals like, let us, us as a manufacturer sell you the alprazolam versus the other one or whatever.
Right.
And they all offer rebates, and you're negotiating rebates. That's where you're profiting.
Right. So whoever gives you the best service, biggest rebates,
that's who you go with.
That's who you go with.
But it was really hard because we didn't have as many patients as a CVS, so we weren't really making money on that. So while we're in the pharmacy space taking meetings for pharmacies, this is really early on, we figured it out right away. It doesn't make a lot of money. Other pharmacists and other people who own pharmacies were like, have you tried this type of pharmacy? There's about 12 of them. They go, have you tried this one? Here's our numbers. We said, wow, that seems phenomenal. Do you have a manufacturer? Do you have a distributor? Do you have data? Do you have the leads, et cetera, et cetera? And so we pieced it all together and we tried it.
You kind of started franchising in a way, building and selling pharmacies?
Yes, it wasn't a franchise. They were all independent, but it was the same. It was just like print, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat.
You just built the same model
over and
time.
over. Yeah, we just kept building and selling pharmacies. Yeah.
Wow. And then somewhere I heard or figured out that you decided to sell all those businesses. When was that, and what was your decision to do that and move on? Because I think then you came out to like LA or Vegas and started doing what you're doing.
Yeah, that's right. In 2019, I sold my book of business.
What made you do that?
Well, so my two partners that I'd started with, the three of us had a lot of fallings out, and I ended up buying them out. We had a few, all these things we were doing were like different corporations.
It's hard to have partners.
Yeah, it was really hard.
It's
it's
hard,
three personalities, three opinions,
Totally
three perspectives, three experiences, and it was at some point, our full lives were intertwined. We're working 18 hours a day on top of each other in the same little space. Our personal lives had to be one and the same as our work. So it was like every aspect of all three of our lives, and our family or friends' lives, all our girlfriends' lives. It was just so much that we all just started to kind of wear on each other. So I made the executive decision that I was going to buy them out. And we all negotiated, and it was fine. And, I gave them everything they wanted and then some. They were still my best friends. They were my brothers, and I want to see them fine. But when I bought them out and I didn't have to listen to their opinions or take into account their...
great, right?
It was like I had 3 times the amount of bandwidth now, because now I didn't have to have therapy sessions in my office. I don't have to say, I'm really sorry that in the meeting I said you dropped the ball, but I'm going to fix it.
Right.
I don't have to do
now
that
you
anymore.
Can just go.
I
you
can
just
do
press
it.
The pedal
I just
down,
do it.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've talked many times about all the businesses I've run that I finally got to a point, and I do have a partner in this business with Ryan, and we still have a lot of butting heads on things, but we do different things. But prior to that, was adamant that I would never be in business with a partner, because no matter how much you love them, how great they are as a person, it's just hard.
It's really
hard, man.
Because the thing is, you have to take a step back from doing work.
By dealing with issues.
Yeah, and to deal with the person, the issues. Exactly.
It's so draining.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it just stops production and progress.
It stops production, exactly right. So when I bought them 2 out, they were okay for a while. They were just getting checks to do nothing anymore, and they went on and did their own things. Unfortunately, one of them was murdered not that long ago, and I want to say rest in peace. Yeah, but let's say excluding that, obviously they did go on to do other great things themselves.
Sure.
But when we did that, I no longer had to stop production to have a therapy session.
Yeah.
And I can make my own executive decisions fully
live and die
control.
on them too.
Yeah, and I did that, and we grew. I forget the exact percentage. I have somewhere all my old folios, but we grew something like 6 times or
your
something like that.
Your trajectory just took off.
It was incredible. And I started making, and now I'm also making, an additional 66.6% for every dollar. Of
course, yeah.
Yeah, I'm making all the money.
Did they
100%.
ever have regrets?
They had huge regrets.
They were like, oh shit, what'd we do when they seen the growth?
Yes, they did.
I bet you they thought it was just lucky that they got out at the wrong time and didn't even attribute it to what you just told me.
I agree with you that I think that's how they thought. Unfortunately, obviously for one of them, I'll never be able to have that conversation. Yeah. And the other one, we did lose touch at some point, but yeah, I believe so, based on how they acted for the near
actions,
the actions of the near, the next following steps preceding buying them out.
Yeah. And do you probably won't answer this, but I don't know how big of a book of business you had. Do you want to tell us what you sold it for?
I don't want to say, but
want to give us a neighborhood between 25 and 35 years old, or?
I'll say this, that it was enough that while I'm living in the greater Miami area, that I decided to, when I sold it, I decided that I'm going to just like be this like young bachelor and live my life and just like be a retired young person.
So it was enough for that.
It was enough that's why I moved to LA. I wasn't working anymore. I was like, I'm just going to live a fun life for the first time. I'm straight edge and I'm up and up, and I got enough cash not to work, and I'm just going to move to LA.
That's a good answer. We could leave it at that. All right. So then you moved to LA, which eventually brought you to Vegas, or do you live in both?
Yeah, I live in both, but I'm technically LA based. Like if someone asks me, I'll say, okay, I live in LA, but I do like own a house in Vegas.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
So you go back and forth. Oh. And so let's get to the stuff that's been very controversial.
Yeah. Okay.
You moved to Vegas or LA, Vegas, whatever, to chill out, but then you didn't really chill out. You, as you put it, and what I've seen is you went into the gambling business in Vegas and from your words, smashed it.
Yeah.
And then got kicked out.
Yeah, I smashed them suckers. Yeah. Yeah. In the beginning, I was going just to party and just to chill out. And just like, it was like once a week, I'd go over to Vegas and just like a little mini vacation, spend 2 days there, whatever, party, and have a nice time and gamble. And I was winning. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I always gambled like my whole life, always had
so you
gambling.
dug the rush of that.
Yeah. And it was just cool. And I had all the time in the world now, and, I had extra cash. It didn't matter win or lose, but I happened to be winning.
How long did it take for you to start saying, okay, I'm going to kind of do this at a higher level where...
About a year.
About a year of just partying and having fun and gambling.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this question, man. I'm just going to ask you some real pointed questions, okay? So and we'll get to it in a minute, that there's been a ton of naysayers about what you did in Vegas and how much money you've made and how you've killed the casinos and how you got banned from them. Okay. So my question to you is how many people in your position are in that position? Because we know that most people that gamble for a living. Now, I know there's professional poker players and there's people that are above the cut, but not everyone can do that. Matter of fact, I would believe it's such a small percentage that it is unbelievable. Now, is that true, or do I have that wrong? Because I don't know.
So this was something interesting. When I first did it, I didn't go into it as a professional gambler. Like I didn't even think about it. I just was going to party and
leaning into it.
Yeah, I was just having fun. Yeah. And I took some losses, but I took more wins than losses. And that's it. I would just hope to get lucky, basically. I knew my whole life that I was maybe a little bit of a sharp player, right? Like I was always like good at, we'll say above average at blackjack and stuff like that, And
is that because of maybe your intelligence and numbers based? Is it basically a numbers game?
I really enjoy using numbers.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, you'll never, even if you were, whatever it is.
Because mathematically, Mikki, you can't beat the house mathematically. I know you can beat it, but I'm saying mathematically, just in general, it's a loser.
Sure. Yeah, of course. That's why the casinos are so much nicer than our houses.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
So when I first went into it, I didn't even think, like, do people beat casinos? I was just hoping, like, every week that I would go, I'd be like, oh, I hope I get lucky and I hope I win.
Book a win and have fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I was looking for. And then at some point, I was like, wow, when I go to do my taxes after the first year, I was like, wow, I owe some good money from the casino's payments to me. I was like, okay. I said, I wonder what happens if I turn up the heat a little bit. So, I basically added a 0 to everything. And so did my wins. And I was like, let me take this more seriously. And as I took it more seriously, come to find out, there are communities of people around the world who, for a living, are professional gamblers. They have like these secret chat rooms where they discuss which casino on which day and which part of the world is beatable in which game and which table, and where there's room to exploit casinos and where there's weaknesses, where there's...
So there's a group for this that communicates. Is it like some kind of Discord that communicates privately.
For sure,
Like a
privately,
private
for
group?
sure. It's for sure private communications.
Why would somebody share that information with you and you with somebody else?
Well, because then so let's pretend that there's a group of I'm making this up 100 people. Let's pretend in this group chat. And let's say I said this casino in Las Vegas on this day has this exploitative feature.
Yeah.
That's a big thing that I just gave them. But they're giving me the equal for each one of their casinos in whatever respected city they're from or whatever country they're from.
Right.
So I only have one casino. I'm making this up again, but imagine
you guys are sharing assets.
Yeah, I mean, and that's more valuable than anything.
No, that networking and sharing assets. Yeah, I get it because then you know where the cherry patches are, right? You have, again, if I got this wrong, I don't know if it's self-proclaimed. I don't know if it's just out there.
Sure.
One of the top Baccarat players in the world.
Well, this is how.
Is that a true statement, or is that your opinion, or how do we calculate that?
So it's a true statement. It's hard to calculate. This is how the calculation comes in like the most watered down version. There's been 4 people in history to be backed off in the game Baccarat in Las Vegas. Phil Ivey, what's their name? Kelly Son, some guy whose name I forgot, and myself.
Those are 4 people in the world that have been backed off of being able to play Baccarat in casinos in Vegas.
Right. Now, out of that 4, 2 of them were, I don't agree, but what the casinos say, we're taking an unfair edge against them, right? In different terms, the claim is that these 2 players were cheating.
Who were the 2?
Oh, it was Phil and again, I think, what's her name? Kelly? I think her name's Kelly's son, right?
Cool. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, it was his partner in crime.
Oh, the gal that sat with him.
Exactly.
With the cards.
Exactly.
I mean, I know about
the Mandarin-speaking translator.
I know about the controversy and the shades of the cards and all that. Whatever.
Yeah. So out of the 4 of us, them 2, they figured out what it was. What was their edge? And they said the casino say it's wrong, and I'm on Phil's side 100% that it's not wrong. But nonetheless, so if you took them 2 out of the equation, it's me and one other guy. And the thing is, I've never. At one time, and the executives we had a conversation about the other guy. I forget, he has like a really plain name, like something Roberts or Jim Roberts, something plain. I totally forget. I didn't really care enough to look into it. Didn't matter. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But they had told this to me, and I never got the details on why he was backed off. So, us being the only 4, the claim is like that I'm top 4. In theory, I don't know. Maybe you could even say top. Maybe you could say I am the best. I'm not really sure. But it doesn't really matter to me. That claim is not necessarily like. It's not an effective claim. Like, I don't really care. It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
So I'm going to ask you a stupid question because I have no basis of knowledge on
Sure.
it. Okay. The only time I've ever sat at a Baccarat table was one time this year with Jeremy Levin, the J Boogs. He plays on our show. Whatever.
Yeah, that's my dog.
Yeah, you know him. You like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's salt of the earth. Well, anyways, we were in Vegas eating dinner, whatever, and I just
That's
decided.
Benny Blanco's brother, you know.
Yeah, Benny Blanco. Yeah, the famous Benny Blanco, of course.
Yeah.
And he went to play some Baccarat, and I just went with him just to kind of screw around. And I've never seen a hand. Matter of fact, when he started bending the cards, my exact thing to him is, I go, what in the fuck are you doing? Like I never sat. I don't even know how. Even right now that I sat there for a few hours, I still can't remember how to play. Okay, so when I ask you anything, it's not based on me trying to like say, oh, how. I don't know.
You can give it to me. It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
right.
So, and it was so weird because when I was there, I looked at the floor man and I go, why are you letting him do this? Because even though like they're just cards and they make millions of dollars, it's like I come from like nothing, and like anytime you waste something, it just doesn't make sense to me to like do that. I just didn't understand it. And I go, why are you letting him do this? And he goes, because if we don't, somebody else will. Mm-hmm. Right? And so I guess that's just the thing. I don't know how to play the game. So I ask you this. Is there an edge? Like, what do you know that all these other people don't know? Like, I don't get it. That's what becomes unbelievable about it. How can just a handful of people or less have this? I don't know if it's an edge. I don't know if it's a betting structure. Like, what do you know that somebody else doesn't know? Like, because you're not supposed to beat it. I don't get it. Like, that's what makes it unbelievable and why you've taken so much heat.
Yeah.
Try to layman terms that shit for us.
The layman's terms is the casinos cheat, and if you just figure out the cheat, I mean, it's not impossible to reverse engineer.
No, but okay, I'm going to press you. They cheat how?
I can't say how exactly because I
You
don't
know how?
I know how. Yeah, I figured it out.
You figured out how they cheat. Literally cheat.
Yeah, for sure. I've proven it
Dude,
on camera.
why can't we talk about it?
Well, I'm selling the exact details on how to reverse engineer it for $50 million.
Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense now why we can't. Okay.
Yeah, so I actually I have I gotta remember what the contract says I can say. Anyway, People are very interested.
If you have a contract for $50 million, you could be vague with me.
Yeah,
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, so
all right, but okay, how did you figure it out? Is it your intellect? Did you get lucky? How did you figure this out? Fuck,
all right,
man.
So check this out.
All
so
right.
I don't know why.
I have a feeling you're going to be one of my favorite interviews by these people. This is so interesting to me that I'm like feel like I'm watching.
So I don't know why, but older people seem to really like me. I seem to really get along with them.
Maybe that's why
right?
I like you. I could be your fucking dad. Go ahead.
So I used to play cards in this particular casino in a particular city in a particular country very regularly.
All right.
And this particular casino doesn't have a lot of huge action. But I used to go in there because nobody was there. It was quiet. I could be left alone and just hang out. Like nobody bothers me. But very regularly, there was this old man who used to also play like pretty big,
Yeah.
So it was basically just he and I. And it was like very regularly, like almost always, like he and I are going to meet at this casino.
He liked you.
And he really liked me. And so we'd sit down and he would just drink this whiskey. It was like $500 a shot or whatever, however you buy whiskey, I don't drink it or whatever, whatever, like $500. And, he'd sit for like 16 hours and just drink after drink. So what he liked to do and just like play
That's a lot of
Baccarat.
money in drinks at $500 a pop.
Well, they're all comp, but yeah. But he would play and he flat betted and he didn't bet huge, but he bet above average for sure. And we're just talking one day and he goes, Mick, the game's changed a lot over the years. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I've been playing Baccarat for 50 years or whatever he said, 60 years, whatever he said. And I go, yeah. And he goes, you think we had all this tech back then? And I go, nah, but it probably helps the game. He goes, helps who? Helps us or helps them? Because if it helps us, why would they spend the money on it? I said, that makes sense. And he goes, you think we had this over there back then? I go, nah. He goes, you think we had this over there back then? I said, nah. He goes, you think they operated that? And he explained certain things in the motion of the game. He goes, the way they market it, the way they did it. He started explaining things about the game. And he goes, you think we did that, 50 or 60 years ago? And I go, no, I guess not, but the technology didn't exist. He goes, you think they invented the technology and they spend the extra money on it and they implement it to help us take their money?
Right.
I said, okay, fine, but like, how can it hurt us? We're just flipping a coin here, player or banker. And he goes, watch this. And a couple cards came out and he said, take note of the following feature. I took note of it. And he goes, I bet you're going to see the same feature in the next
What's
set
a feature mean? Is that what you can't talk about?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
fine.
And he goes, watch the next hand. You're going to notice the same feature again. And I noticed it. And we played a whole shoe.
So he figured this out, kind of.
Yeah, I mean.
And then he took your intellect and he brought it to another level.
He showed me that they were cheating. He proved beyond.
Why would he still play if they were cheating?
I don't think he cared. I think he just enjoyed getting away from his wife, getting drunk.
Right.
That's what he did for 60 years. He's
Got
like,
it.
he's like, I'm going to go to this particular city in this particular country.
He was willing to give them the edge just to drink and
chill.
Get to chill.
Get away from his wife and just be on vacation. People spend, $20K to go to, I don't know, wherever they're going. He's like, I'm going to spend whatever I'm spending and, those relative to his income.
That was his enjoyment. Totally get it.
And so he proved to me beyond any doubt that there was cheating. And I said, okay, I understand there's cheating. And then I had to take it myself, and this is what I did privately, and this is what's worth the $50 million, is I had to figure out why did they choose to cheat that way? And if I could figure out why, then I can reverse engineer it and figure out how to stay ahead of it. And that's what I did.
That's pretty damn interesting to me. I wasn't expecting you to tell me something like that. I was expecting you, if I'm being honest, to tell me something that was just not believable and it sounded like bullshit.
Yeah.
And not that that's just true because I don't get it because it's player, it's bank, it doesn't make sense to me, right? And you have a choice.
Imagine that they already determined which hands were going to be player and which hands were going to be bank, and you could figure out how. If you could figure out.
Yeah, and I just don't understand it because the cards still go into a shoe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, whatever. I know we can't get into it. Do you think anyone else knows this besides you and the guy that drinks whiskey? And do you think when this comes out and you get if you ink that deal for $50 million, does it end Baccarat? I mean, I don't get it. Like, what if everyone knows? I don't understand.
So this is the thing with the $50 million.
Yeah. What do they get out of it? Whoever's offering you that.
They're gonna get every detail of the situation.
Are they going to use it for their benefit, or are they going to put it out publicly?
I don't care what they do with it. I got to be super honest.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's fair.
I don't know what they're gonna do with it. They say like they want to win because every casino does a slight different variation of this. So you can essentially figure out a way to beat almost every casino, but some will take more time because you have to apply it. It's like you ever seen the movie? What's the movie about World War II where the guy invents the first computer?
I don't know.
The guy, what's that movie? The invention of the computer came from the UK to help beat the Nazi Germany during the Second World War.
Yeah, I don't know of it.
They had this encryption device.
I'm gonna go watch it because I love shit like that.
Yeah, it's an excellent movie. It's a true story.
I'll figure it out.
So the Nazis had this encryption device, and the encryption device is how they shared messages all over the world about their next attack.
Oh, and we broke it.
Yeah, and we broke it.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. Yeah, we broke like a Morse code. We broke it.
Yes, very similar.
Yeah.
The way that we broke it was by inventing a computer that essentially reverse engineered.
I didn't watch the movie, but I knew of this.
Yeah, so what they did is the computer, it would ran infinite amount of sequences in little to no time. Because if you did it manually, you're talking about 100 million years it would take you to decipher each code coming in.
Yes.
But you need to get it done in real time. So that was the reason for the invention of the first computer ever.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was how we helped to beat the Germans during World War II.
I remember hearing that.
Yeah, so imagine that the way I have created my algorithm, I just use the term algorithm, was a similar concept to that, right? The information comes in, and it has to like decipher and decode and figure out what is this casino's version, what is the message this casino is, and then it'll like, it's different. Obviously, it's different than this, but just imagine like conceptually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it.
And then it prints out the answer. This casino uses this variant of this version.
Just breaking the code.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting to me. What's that?
The Imitation Game. That's the movie. The Imitation Game. Imitation
nice.
Game. Yeah.
I will watch it.
Yeah.
For sure I'll watch it. Mikki, why not? I mean, the 50 million makes more sense, but why not in conjunction with that train 5-10 Mickeys and put them out there and just give them and fund them, and you don't have to walk into the casino?
Unfortunately, I can't speak on that.
Oh man, I'll dig that. I wish we could. All right. I can read between the lines. Good for you, buddy. So, okay. And by the way, tell me if these names are right. You've been taking over the last year or two a lot of heat about this claim. And, there's been videos and pictures of you in rooms with just stacks of cash. I mean, it has to come from somewhere. So, for the non-believers, even like myself, and like, what is that? Like, is that money real? Like, what? But you were vetted by the Nelk boys. Spencer Cornelia is his name. Adam 22. How do you say his name?
Cornelia. Yeah.
I watched some of those things where that kid totally was trolling you and saying, like, prove it to me. And it's on YouTube somewhere where he literally, I think when he was done, was kind of a believer. Is that?
Yeah, no, completely. So he made this first video. The truth is, I had no idea. I was so new to social media. Even when I did my first No Jumper interview, I knew Adam outside of the influencer world. Like, we know each other through BMXing. My best friend is his old roommate. They're both pro BMXers, and together started No Jumpers. Matter of fact, it was actually his name's Catfish. It was my boy Catfish that actually started No Jumper while roommates with Adam.
Okay.
Catfish is the announcer for like the Olympics and the X Games and Nitro Circuits, whatever, and he's a pro BMXer. He went on to do some touring gigs as like an MC and said, Adam, hey, I have this show, like whatever. So I knew Adam like as a person. I had no idea even what podcasts really were. And so same with Spencer. So I do the thing with Adam. I'm on social media now. I'm like pretty new. I'm like blowing up. And all of a sudden, my friend from Miami sends me a link to a YouTube video. The Spencer guy, I don't know, right? Some like white kid, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I
saying bullshit.
Yeah, and I opened it and he's like tearing me apart and he's like this. But I will tell you this: he was really impartial and he was neutral and he was unbiased. And he goes, I can't say with an affirmative, but I believe that Mickey's not legit, and these are all this is the information I have, and based on this is my belief.
You know what I really respect about what you did, obviously, because you're backing up in what you're saying is the truth, and we're gonna go ahead and believe that. Is you did something that was actually different than I had a personal experience of being triggered by stuff like this and fighting back and creating it worse. You actually leaned into it. You leaned into it. I watched you in interviewed with him and all that. And you were very nice to him. You weren't defensive. You weren't hostile, angry, sarcastic. You just gave him the facts and leaned into it. And I was pretty impressed by your demeanor in it. But yeah, I remember at the end, he's like, okay, you showed me.
Yeah. So when I got the link to that video, the morning, I think it was the same.
How can people
morning,
find that?
It was on YouTube. You just put in like Spencer Cornelia. Me and him ended up doing 3 videos.
Okay.
The first, I think, is called is Mikki legit, which is where he says that I'm not legit. He tries to disprove
That's the first
me.
one you got sent to you.
Yeah, which was like the bad one where he's like,
Yeah.
anti-Mikki. The morning that one dropped, after I watched it, I made one phone call and it took me about 30 seconds and I got Spencer's phone number.
Nice.
And I called Spencer and I said, hey, brother, like no hostility. It's Mikki. I'm not here to give you a hard time. I thought the video was excellent. I thought it was very well articulated, but you're missing a lot of facts. Do you want to get together? I'll give you all the facts. And at the end, you can at least confirm that I'm not legit. But if I happen to change your mind or sway you,
Then I would appreciate if you said that.
That's all I said. And he said, yeah, I can come over tomorrow. So the next day he came over. I believe it was the next day. He came over and I showed him anything he wanted. I gave him my phone. The thing is, we filmed for like 8 hours, spent the whole day together. But he condensed to a 20-minute video. So there's a lot of pieces missing. But
Totally.
Spencer has talked about it in other videos. He saw everything. I mean, there was nothing left to disbelieve. He saw DMs. He saw my casino records, all of them. You know what I mean? Like he's seen everything, not just one, not just a hand pick. He saw everything. And he made the video and he goes, what he says at the end is he goes, I've never been one to shy away from saying I was wrong. And when it comes to Mikki, I was wrong.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Mikki, let me ask you this question. I don't think you're going to answer it, but I'm going to ask and I'm going to hope you're going to answer it.
Sure.
So this isn't the question. It's a lead to the question. How long were you, just hand quotes, professionally playing Baccarat?
3 years.
How much did you make in those 3 years?
I don't know.
I know you're not, but come on, man. I'm just going to ask anyways, you
It
want
was
to give me a neighborhood between 25 and 35 years old?
It was between it was a few tens
I
of
hate interviewers that give soft interviews, bro.
It was some tens of millions. This is the thing. You can go online. My casino
I don't want
records
to go online. I got you here.
My casino records have been released, like live.
So if they've been released, why not say it?
I beat Vegas in the last 24 months that I played. I beat them for a little over 30 million.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I
I know it just sounds weird. I don't
I'm asking. It's not like you're bragging. If they're public records, like this is what we're here for.
I beat them suckers.
Okay, see, tell the truth. There you go. That's what we're looking for. I beat those bitches out of 30 million.
I smashed them. Yeah, I got them. I got them so good. Oh my God.
Right. Do you still have most of that money?
I actually hold on.
Man, you hit somebody with a quick thing and the truth comes out. No, tell me.
No, so I locked up most of that money. So I have this real estate management company. They basically took all my cash and they just handle things. I really don't even ask too many questions.
Be careful with that.
Well, the owner is somebody very, very close to me.
Be careful with that.
You're absolutely correct.
Okay.
This is, I think I'm in a very safe situation. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
I kind of put the management company together myself. I took a few people that come from real estate that are very close to my life, and I said, hey, do we want to come together and put a fund? And everybody said, yeah, we're already doing that on our own, but we can create another with you. Like, let's do it. So they're handling most of that.
What kind of fund? A PPM? What type of thing are you running? Just a real estate fund where you're buying real estate rentals and different things?
Yeah, exactly. Buying, rebuilding, selling, nice. Leasing,
Leasing, cool.
Yeah.
Smart. Very good. Yep.
Before I go and blow the whole bag.
Yeah, that's smart, man. Lock it up, bro. Because you know what? You're a degen, right?
Yeah. I can't help myself. I love.
I've seen you play poker.
Yeah, I love. I
love to gamble.
I love gambling. I love lighting money on fire. I love just getting out
lock
there.
some of it up and then go get your rocks off.
I figure if I live like I'm broke all the time, I'll always have the hustle I had when I was younger, so I can always make more.
I kind of live like that.
Yeah.
You know, people make fun of me because what they think I have or have made and how I play. Like I'm a conservative person in those areas, and I kind of like always feel like I'm broke. Because I've went broke twice.
Yeah.
Building like businesses and went broke, and so that's like in my core, and I'm like learned my lessons. So everything I do now, being my age, not your age, I'm much more conservative because I don't have, even if you were on the high end at 35, I don't have those earning years. So I'm very careful. So I get it. But then you started playing poker.
Yeah.
Now, did you start playing poker because you couldn't play Baccarat and you needed to do something? How did that evolve? And tell me about, that's it?
That's exactly how it started.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like I played poker like my whole life. Like I learned poker when I was like 5 years old or something, you know. But I always found poker to be boring. You have to be like sharp all of the times.
Yeah, you got to be A game.
Yeah, always.
You make one or two mistakes, you're done in that session.
Yeah, you know, like let's say that a flop comes and one bet happens and everybody folds. You get dealt your next cards immediately, whether you want to take a break or not. You got cards, and you're like, I got ace deuce suited. What am I supposed to do here? And you're like, I really just want to chill, but the hand's like I guess it has playability. Okay, I'm in, you know.
Yeah, but your heart's not in it, right?
And then all of a sudden you're locked in. You're like, wait a second. Everybody here is like super laser focused on this hand, you know. And I'm like, wait a second. I got ace. Dude, like, calm down, you know.
Calm down.
You know, and then
calm down. I don't really want to be here right now.
Yeah,
calm
exactly.
Down,
That's how I feel. You know, like I can't sit for that long, and I can't like stay focused for that long. I got to move on.
So, do you think you could never? I'm not saying you are or aren't. Do you think you could not be a top great poker player because of the attention span?
So, I actually had a plan. In 2021, my intention fully was that at the end of the year, I was going to completely quit table games. I was getting banned anyway. I was going to completely quit table games, and entering 2022, I was going to pursue a full professional poker career, like exclusively. That was my new like career path in life. A lot of things that came up. The first is, unfortunately, I had a lot of deaths. I had a lot of deaths last year. A lot of my friends died, and it just sort of like threw me through a loop.
Like your age group?
Yeah.
Did they not get out of the fold, and they just like in a bad way?
Yeah, most of them were still like in the life.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's okay. Like some of them weren't. Some of them died, you know, of
organic.
Well, I don't know about organic, but non-lifestyle driven causes. You know, like I told you, like my best friend, my old business partner, was murdered, and some, you know, girlfriends of mine had died, and a lot of people around me had died, and it was like this weird time. One time, two of my friends died in like back-to-back days, and the first time I left the house since then was actually to come on the Hustler stream when I played at Phil Hellmuth.
So it might have knocked you off your poker path.
Yeah, I just felt like distraught. I felt distracted and distraught. I felt like emotionally disconnected from everything. I had like
of course.
I'd like no, my heart wasn't in anything at all.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, Mikki, we're running the Baccarat thing. We're doing this. We're hustling. We're whatever. But at the end of the day, like when things happen, you realize, oh my God, like this is what's the important shit in life, and it's like it wakes you up too. It's very sad. So I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay. Yeah. I mean, you know, obviously it's not your fault, you know, so thank you for the condolences.
Yeah, no, I hope not. If not, I'm a lamb, you know?
Yeah. But you know what? So what happened was I started becoming like a big influencer. So I started getting locked into that scene in that world. And then I have some movie deals and some TV shows that, you know, we signed contracts. So when
that are out right now or coming?
No, coming out. They're
TV show you can't say?
Some I can and some I can't, but honestly, I don't remember which I can, so I'm just gonna not say any.
Okay.
But yeah, I have like I can tell you that I have a thing with.
What's your role in them?
So some are about me, some are shows that I'm like the main star of, and some I have like acting roles in, and that was like sort of for fun. Some movies that want to have things. Do
you have a deal for a movie?
I have some.
If not, I have some folks that I could like hook you up with that I would love that story.
There's a particular movie that I want to film that I don't have a deal for yet.
You want to talk about it after?
Yeah, afterwards we can definitely talk about it. Currently, I can tell you like I have like a TV show like National Geographic working on, and
I think a nice movie though of your life progressing through this whole Baccarat thing. Once you can talk about it, would be cool.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think
let's lock in on that after.
Yeah,
I'm interested in that.
Yeah, let's definitely talk about it afterwards. I got something with Netflix that's pretty cool. I'm working on. But yeah, there's that one particular movie that I'd love to do. Yeah.
Okay.
But so I signed all those contracts and stuff like for all the Hollywood stuff, and so even when my friends were dying, and I didn't want to like see anybody, I don't want to talk to them, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to work anymore, I didn't want to do that. I was really locked in. Like I had to show up, I had to take the phone calls. So between like getting really busy with like the movies and the stuff like that, and the influencer stuff, and then just, like being like emotionally disconnected from everything, I just put poker on the back burner.
How do you consider? Yeah, I get it. How do you consider yourself an influencer? Like what type of influencer are? I know what an influencer is, but how do you view yourself? And what do you know about influencers? Like, why did you want to become an influencer, or did it just happen?
I definitely didn't want it to happen. When I was during COVID and all the casinos were shut down, I was really, really bored, and I was still friends with like all the casino owners. We're all on good terms, and they would encourage me. They said, you know, you live a life that like most people will never know exists, and the ones that do know that exists are usually like kind of like old billionaire, like boring guys. You know, like they're not cool, they're not young and happening. You know, they're not having fun with what they got going on. Don't you think people find it entertaining? Like you should create Instagram. And I was so bored that I finally gave in, and I was like, fine. You know, and I created an Instagram, and it immediately started like going viral. And you know, like one of the first like people that hit me up was Drake, and then like the second person was like Lil Baby, and I'm out with them and they're posting videos of me and it's blowing up more and more. So I was not prepared to be an influencer. I was not prepared to have any fame or clout or none of that. And you know, then I started taking interviews like Adam, and I didn't even know what was going on. It's like I don't know, I thought we were just buddies talking, and he wanted to roll a camera. You know, that's kind of like my perspective. Kind of.
Have you taken a lot of heat for being an influencer since you've been out there? Like, have people attacked you? Have you, you know, like, tell me about that. The more we've talked, and the more popular you get, or the more eyes you have on it, the more heat you take. What's your experience?
Come to find out, everybody, even like your most beloved celebrity person, takes some heat and has like anti people.
No matter what they're doing,
which is crazy to me, because there's certain people like I'll look at Post Malone and I'll be like, you have to love that man. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I took this like weird heat, and for me I took it personal, because I was just like, it's just not nice. Like, I've been so private my whole life, and now that I'm out there for the world, like, I spill my heart. Like, if I'm happy, I'll post happy. If I'm sad, I post sad, whatever. And you know, like, I don't know, I just didn't think I put myself out there to be like picked apart in any way.
Yeah, but the truth is, no matter what you do, you will be. Besides your businesses and wanting to create these shows and these deals and your possible deal with the Baccarat thing, these are all legit shit you're doing. Are you still looking to pursue yourself, for yourself to pursue some type, because I know you need the action, you love the action, you love to gamble. Are your thoughts that you want to pursue being a poker player at a higher level, or is there other things you want to do? Like, what's your goal there? Because you haven't been, which is weird to me, not weird to me, but I wonder, like, if you really want to play poker, where are you playing now if you are? And where do you play? Who do you play with? What are the stakes? Or if you're not playing, why? And you haven't made that many appearances on Hustler Casino, and the fans want you. We want you back on. Tell me about where you're going from here with all that. I know that's like 12 million different things, but try to put that together for me.
All right, so I guess let me try to break it down. So the first thing is like, do I have a desire to pursue poker originally as my full-time professional career?
That's a way better way to say it.
Okay, so I have this desire to be like a top-ranked tournament player. Like, I think that'd be the coolest. The thing is, like, that's the most challenging. It's
you know
the
that's
hardest.
going to be hard for you with your attention span. That takes a lot of time and concentration, bro.
It also has
you're going to get a next hand every second.
I know. It also has the least success record. Like, on a law of large numbers. Like,
it's a grind.
The least amount of people can be successful doing it. You have a better chance of being a successful cash game player than you do a tournament player.
Yeah, because to play tournaments, you literally have to play one after another, after another, after another, because people see the success of that win or that second place finish, but they don't know you just played 15 prior to that.
Yeah, and you also can't get a lot of 10th places because you don't have any final tables. A 10th place is like a really sick thing. Like, if I got 10th in a tournament, I would be stoked. But the truth is, no one's gonna be a stoked.
You don't exist.
Yeah, don't exist. You know, you got to be in the top 9. You got to get a final table. So it's really hard. I just think it'd be so cool. You know, there's also the least amount of money like in these tournaments. Of course, there's some that are so.
I get it. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, you can make more money in a cash game. Like a desire, like a daydream I have, you know, like a fantasy, is to be like a top ranked tournament player. Will it happen? I'm not sure. So like the step before that would be like a successful cash game player. And like, you know, you're a poker player. Playing in a tournaments as a tournament pro versus a cash game pro is two different types of pros.
They're just not even 180 from each other.
Yeah, exactly. They're not even the same game. No. It's like comparing PLO to Hold'em.
It's nothing. You can't even do it.
Yeah, right. So it'll be a lot of work. What's a little maybe more likely is that I become like a better I become like a top ranked cash game player. Do I have interest in that? Yeah, like I said, like my desire would be, you know, like in that order. Do I think it's something let me rephrase. I would say that it's second to what I'm pursuing now in the poker realm. So I play like really big PLO. I play private games. This is like my entrance
in Vegas or California?
All over the world.
Okay.
I play like
currently?
A lot of. Yeah.
Okay.
I play like a lot of like 10K, 20K PLO. I play like
10, 20K blind?
Blind, yeah, 10K, 20K blinds. Like on any given day of the week, there's like a game like within this network that plays like 500, 1,000. So it's more reasonable to play every day.
PLO or Hold'em?
Almost all PLO. Wow. I play like, honestly, I played more hours of Hold'em on the stream than I do like in my personal life. We all just play PLO. Do
you not like Hold'em as much as PLO? Not enough action?
It's sort of not enough action. I think I'm already bored at the game of like, you know, like a 5-carded board of poker, you know, that the Hold'em is like the slowest of all the versions.
Yeah, true.
And PLO offers more variance, so you can.
You like the variance.
You can. The thing is that because of my attention span or whatever, I can accidentally be dealt 4 random cards that will turn into the nuts. Come the turn, I have the nuts. You know, so it's easier for me to accidentally get into a winning hand. With Hold'em, what happens is like I use it like almost like a puzzle, right? Like it's not so much about what cards are dealt and what cards are out. It's about the puzzle of each hand. So it takes a lot of brain power. And with Hold'em, the puzzle is like, in a weird way, it's more challenging to figure out, right? Because there's only so many slots.
I would think you would like that.
With PLO, the each slot that the puzzle could fit is much broader. So I can say, does he have a flush more easily in PLO than I can in Hold'em? In Hold'em, it's like he either does or he doesn't. How do I figure out if he does? In PLO, there's a way broader range of him having a flush if I'm not holding any spades, for example.
Sure.
So it allows my puzzle to be more easily solved in PLO than it does in Hold'em.
Yeah.
And it doesn't translate that well in Hold'em. So I find myself in hands that I shouldn't be in all the time. If you dealt me like 2 random cards, very similar to Alan Keating, right? Mm-hmm. I think we have sort of a similar thought. Me and Alan talk a lot, all right? And basically our thought is like, deal me any 2 cards. And if I can solve the puzzle of this hand against my 1 or possibly 2 opponents, I can win the hand. And it's almost like a brain game. It's not about like the win or loss of poker. It's not about like the overall win. It's not about, which is why, by the way, he's Mr. VPIP. He just wants to keep solving this puzzle. He likes to play every hand to see if he can, crack the code of this hand and this one player this time. Sure. So it's not even about the money. Bro, if you ever saw me play a 5-5 game, bro, I get so livid in 5-5 games, right? The first thing is that the stakes, even on Hustler, are relatively small in comparison to my more weekly games. So the first thing is I come on there and I'm like, okay, we're gonna have some fun, but of course I want to make some money. Even if I won 100K, it's still...
because I'll tell you, Mikki, I've seen you probably because of being competitive. I'm not saying money, but I've seen you being a little bit on tilt when you've been up 300,000-400,000 and then lost it all and been stuck 2 or 3. Like you visibly were like, fuck.
Yeah, it's not about like winning or losing the money. I'm competitive. I just want to win that hand. Like I want to crack the code of that. Like I want that puzzle to fit. I want to figure it out. Do you have a flush? Do you have top 2? Like what is it? It's not, that's like you said, I could be up 400,000, which I have in a game, on the show before, and I still can go on tilt first of all, I don't know if you knew this, that there's one particular game I played. I believe Matt Berkey played this game. Garrett played. Andy played. Gall played. Mm-hmm. I was not just the only profitable player for Phil Ivey played.
Yeah.
I was not only was I the only profitable player for the first 5 hours, I also broke a record on your show. I was the biggest winner in your show's history to date.
I remember on that. Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I think I know. Actually, I think I do know why, but I don't think that gets enough light. I set a record on that show that day, and I was the literal only profitable player, give or take, for the first 5 hours. Right? And so I'm up all this money, and I still go on tilt because I'll play one hand and I'll get the puzzle wrong. I will misread the situation, and then I'm pissed at myself. I'm like, dang. I should have realized that he was holding that and I was holding this. I should have made the call. I should have made the fold. I should have done something different. I get upset about it. It's not okay. So I was up 400,000. Like, I don't want to like be disrespectful to the money, right? But this is not all the money that exists in the world, right? I mean that respectfully, but
it's relative. I understand.
It's relative, but I'm pissed. I'm pissed that I made a mistake on that hand. That I should have solved that puzzle better. Right?
Was that the? I don't remember what I was commentating once. I don't know if it was that show or not. And I remember, tell me if you remember this. And I remember because you are so unorthodox, I want to call it a mistake by being shocked and said something like, I don't know what he's doing. Yeah. And you weren't happy with me.
Yeah, that's true. I called Feldman about it. I was pissed.
Like, what the fuck's his problem?
Playing off 200,000. You can see Phil bought in for 290, I believe. He's got the Jack 10 suited. This is the question I had asked you. Are we going to see flats? Are we going to see 3 bets? Well, there's a flat. From the hijack.
Yeah, that's a raising hand right there. Could be. Oh, look at this. Yeah.
It's going to bring in Dylan on the button.
That's right.
Which is why you're incentivized to 3-bet in the middle there. Mikki here with 6s, also going to make the call.
3,400.
Best thing about COVID.
We're going to see this multi-way here. But Lucky here has put in a small, well, maybe not, I mean, 4x 3-bet after a few calls. I would say that that's small. He decides to 3-bet out of this third blind here. And I got to tell you, I mean, Gal might put the hammer down here with a bunch of people calling to his left. I mean, what a spot to 4-bet, right?
It's almost automatic.
Raise it up. Make it
There it is.
11,000.
There it is, and that's going to drive out.
This is gonna isolate this down to possibly heads up with the 6s, unless Lucky decides he wants to really put in the gamble.
Well, how about Mikki making the call here?
Yeah.
And I said,
Yeah, I'm gonna isolate it down. Oh, Lucky says, I'm gonna try to get lucky.
Call. There's actually 3.5x
Yeah.
raise, and we're gonna see
36K.
two calls here. So 4-bet pot, multi-way.
Oh, wow.
And a set of 6s here for Mikki on a monotone board. Gal's got ace-king with the ace of spades.
Guys, put your seatbelts on, please.
And Lucky's gonna lead with air.
Lucky's gonna get a rude awakening and have to just bail out of this hand very shortly.
So 3-4 of hearts gonna bet 14,000. What is Gal gonna do here with ace-king with the king of spades and Mikki here?
I think Gal's gonna raise this pot up.
Top pair.
it was like the coldest response.
Top pair with a nut draw. Don't see how he doesn't raise this pot to protect his hand a little bit.
Well, you don't want to lose weak races, though, right? I mean, I might do a lot of calling here, but there's obviously several ways to play it. We'll see what he does.
That is true.
Raise it up.
There it is.
36,000.
You were right once again here, Nick. 36,000. So 14 in a small race here. And now over to Mikki. On this monotone board. I mean, obviously you have to be scared too of aces and queens, right? In a 4-bet pot.
Yeah, you do. I believe Mikki's going to flat here. Just from a few times I've seen him play, but I don't know.
10 seconds.
We'll see.
I mean, if he does flat, we're gonna put it in the time extension. We're gonna have a huge pot. We're gonna have like one pot-sized bet.
Oh yeah.
If he does flat.
He takes off.
There is the
You know how much you're playing?
with the 5
70
kings.
more.
70 behind,
We
right?
lost Lucky.
Now he said he has 70 more. We have it at 94 on the graphics, but
Yeah, I
pot's
think he
122.
didn't calculate that right, because even looking at it, it looks like more than 7.
Turn is a very, very big brick.
I wonder if that'll be a factor in this hand, that Gull is not getting the right count.
74 as opposed to 94. It's not huge.
Yeah, that's true. I think he's going to shove.
10 seconds.
I really do.
I'm all in.
Yep.
There's the shove.
All in.
All in.
All in.
Gal's all in.
This is not a snap for Mikki. He's going to be in a lot of pain
Tough
here.
spots for me.
Yep.
You cover me? Yeah. What a tough spot.
He's in the torture chamber right now. What do you think, Bart? He got a call, right?
I think he got here this far.
Yeah. And it's Mikki. He's just going to be in pain, and he's going to put it in, and he's going to wind his way either to a big pot or not.
I call.
There it
There's
is.
the call.
2 times?
You have flush?
2 times?
Once or twice.
Whatever you want.
2 times.
All right, they're going to run it twice here for
I don't want to say before.
310,000 here, Nick.
Gull doesn't want to say his hand.
Gull needs to catch a spade that is not a deuce.
That's right. Blank.
Yeah,
Oh my
that
gosh.
does not do
That
it
one, Nick?
for him.
Oh my gosh, a $310,000 pot. That's going to go to Mikki.
And another blank, and
Wow.
Mickey's going to scoop
It's
310,000
about 70.
if the graphics are correct. He seems to think that he has a little bit less, but we'll see here in a second. It's going to be right
it's
around
more than
300,000.
70.
Yeah.
I think he said something like that.
Yeah. I think Gull's not going to be thrilled that it's not 70, but it wasn't going to change anything.
60. 70.
Yep. Uh-oh.
80.
Let's see what Gull has to say.
Is this 90,000?
Yep.
Yeah. Although Gull should ask for an exact count if he really wanted it.
91.
It's not Mickey's obligation to give me the exact count.
93.8.
I thought he had 70.
Yeah.
I just like quick looked and told you. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah, I do not believe Mickey's hitting the heights of 5'10". I don't think so, but I don't know.
You're 4'11"?
I always see him sitting.
I'm not doing good.
Garrett under the gun with a big Duke, raised to 1,200.
Mickey's going to get involved.
4,000.
And he 3-bets the 4-5 offsuit. So Garrett opens ace-king off, and Mickey from out of position goes to 4,000. So about 3.5x here.
What do you think the eighth wonder is going to do?
Looks like he's going to call. Yeah. And they're deep. We usually don't see Mickey. I mean, Mickey's been on just a tear. Actually, it's a 4-bet. Excuse me. He 4-bets to 15,000. And Mickey snaps. Beat him in the pot. So 4-bet pot.
I respect that.
He don't.
Wow.
Well, Mickey's just totally whiffed here.
Yeah.
King 10-9 all hearts.
Whiffsville.
Whoa, look at this. We've seen
I mean,
this
I love
before.
Mickey, but on a 4-bet pot against an aggressive player, this is a suicide mission.
Do we have a clock?
He just has flopped absolutely.
Yeah, he's lighting some of these chips on fire.
So a lead here
Do we have a
for
clock in here? What time is
15,000.
Yeah.
What time is it?
Definitely not something that Garrett is usually accustomed to seeing. He just calls.
Nope, he's not used to being in this position.
Can you see it from here?
The only thing I'll say, Nick, is that is there ever a chance that if a heart were to come off and Mickey's continued to bet that Garrett might fold here? Mickey's going to continue to bet.
Yeah, well, this isn't the greatest turn either for Garrett. His hand is getting tougher and tougher to play for him. And yes, if a heart comes, he could get off his hand.
Yeah, one-liner out here to
It's
a
not
jack.
it's not shaping up right.
Yeah, look at this turn card. One-liner to a jack here. King 10-9, all hearts turns a queen.
Garrett is good enough to sniff this out and to put the money in.
He's going to call, and we are at 101,000 here.
Wow.
River
It's a
is
blank.
6, so Mickey has absolutely nothing here.
Yeah. Mickey's feet bombs here.
Yeah. Fuck, I should have bet. No, I have to play high. God damn it, go.
What did you have when I bluffed? The queen 10. What did you have?
A small pocket.
Huh?
Small pocket.
Okay.
I can't call. The whole board beat.
Wow. He's going to bomb it.
Besides, put queen 10.
Yeah, of course.
I think he might have announced 60.
Ah,
Let's
that was
see.
Yeah.
Yep.
65,000?
65,000.
Wow.
I meant.
Okay, 60,000.
I don't. You know.
Yes,
What's the bet?
60,000.
Whatever he wants. Is 60?
I meant 60. I don't want to like.
You're fine.
You know.
Just whatever you want the bet to be is fine.
Yeah. I don't want to like poor etiquette is.
You're good, dude. You're good. Fuck. Oh, so many tough decisions against you. Been wrong every time. Folded a bunch. Called and was wrong. Fucking such brutal.
Yeah. Let it out, Garrett. Why do I think he's going to call Bart?
Could be a live read here.
Yeah.
Mickey seemed a little nervous now.
What the fuck does this hand mean? I don't know.
Now he's trying to look calm.
Yeah. A lot of time chips might be going in here. This is a really
Pick one.
thin line here.
It's like, would Mickey ever play a flop flush like this? Would he ever play just a jack like this? Remember, it's a 4-bet pot. He 3-bet out of the small blind, and Garrett 4-bet, and he snap called.
Oh, he's going to try to vape his way to a fold.
You got it again, huh? Fuck, dude. Every time you've had it against me. I feel like you got it again.
Yes, everybody.
That doesn't mean he's folding. Sometimes he switches gears right in the middle of the game. Man, he might be leaning that way, though. He doesn't look happy about this. This is putting him in a tough spot, man. Tough damn spot.
Adding 1 minute.
Can't win this hand, I don't think either. Just gotta hope you have something like that.
Well,
I mean, normally you wouldn't think the that someone would have like ace-7 off with the ace of hearts,
Not sure what to do.
which is like the nut
Couple
flush
hands
draw
like that, but-
unpaired. But we know that Mikki might even have that because he's got a black 5-4. So
Yeah.
trying to hand read here is really hard.
Well, Garrett is the master of making the right decision, and 60,000 isn't going to change his life. He's just trying to make the best decision as a competitor.
What a great split screen here.
Yeah.
Guess I'll fold.
Oh, he makes the fold. Wow, Mikki, show it, baby.
Oh, man.
Oh,
My dude.
and he shows him.
How does that king?
Woo! That's going to leave a mark.
Phase 2 or 1?
Nice hand, man.
Wow, Mikki tricky.
This guy's stepping all over Superman's cave.
Garrett
I would
is
have called the king jack.
very disappointed in the fact he made the wrong decision. I know him
You want
well.
me to show?
You could. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Wow, Mikki.
If you do or you don't, like, just, you know, I never mean to be
No,
rude.
you can always show. It's all good, yeah.
All right.
He will take the information even though it's stinging.
Why? Could you beat 5 high? I played that 4-5 when I bluffed it off to Garrett. That hand was a lot of fun for me. Not only do I like 4-5, like for me that's my range, but what I did was I raised pre-flop, so I could easily be representing like really big strong cards. And so if the big strong cards come, like I still have a lot of motion for the rest of the hand. But if they come small, I can hit my straights, I can hit, you know, 2-pair, draw, stuff like that. So I'm really in good position with like small connectors like that when I'm opening like pretty big pre-flop. The flop comes and it wasn't really my favorite, it wasn't small cards, it was actually like king, queen, jack, hearts. So now I'm in what my represented range is, which could have been big hearts, it could have been 2-pair, could have been a big pocket pair, could have been straight. So I have all of these things to represent. And as I bet initially and opened after the flop, I really got to like feel the range that Garrett might have been playing at. And it didn't seem like overly aggressive, it didn't seem like super confident, so I felt that I had a lot of wiggle room. And once I committed to that, assuming that I did have one of those big made hands, there was no way to improve on it, which means my betting couldn't change. I had to keep barreling. I had to continue representing the story that I was playing. So no matter what the turn was, no matter what the river was, there was nothing that was going to change about my betting patterns. There was like no, change. There's just no changing it. So I just kept up with it. He kept holding on for dear life. And ultimately, I still didn't feel strong about him. I was just trying to gauge his weakness, and I had 4-5 offsuit, didn't touch a single thing. I had 5 high ultimately, playing the board. And on the river, I have no choice but to bet big. I don't want to overbet because I think Garrett's the type of player that really wants to cling on to that. I think he's looking at the prize. So I was like, I don't want to over entice him to make a super donkey loose call. I want to bet just enough that he really has to consider it based on his chip count, but not too much that it's like it's worth a gamble because look how much I'll get paid off. So I bluffed him to 4-5. I bet my last bet on the river was 60,000 and he folded. Yeah, I was pissed. You know, I was like pretty early on in influencing and like being a public figure.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm in with like a lot of, you know, like pretty
I understand.
famous people. So when I post on Instagram that, oh yo, I'm gonna be on this show, like watch me gamble live, the people that are tuning in are really high value people and really like for me, I was like kind of still starstruck that like these kinds of like A-listers are like literally tuning in on a Friday night or whatever to just watch me and root for
then
me.
You got me going, what in the fuck's he doing?
And you're going, yeah, Mikki, bad move, buddy.
Did I say that? Like
I
that?
forget
But it
what
was
you
something
said.
like
It was,
that, right?
you know, it was
like
something like
basically like stumped.
Yeah, you're like in very much nicer words. You're like, Mikki, what are you, an idiot? Like obviously that's wrong, you know. and then you know I have you know like whoever may be like you know famous whatever.
Well, you know what I remember
like,
most is when I reached out to you once Feldman told me that you weren't like thrilled about it, and I reached out to you. You're very gracious. Like immediately, we're very gracious. I'm like, dude, I'm really sorry, and you're like, oh, bro, you know. So
it's
I
totally
appreciate
okay.
that.
It was, and you know, I think the moment that you said it was in this one particular part where the video got chopped up, and that video, which was reposted has like 100 million views on the internet.
Oh shit!
So
Sorry, bro.
roughly 100 million.
Was it in there?
people-
The comment?
Yeah,
I'm
it was
so
like
sorry.
dead center. It was
I'm
like,
so sorry.
You know, it's like it's all right. It's
Yeah.
no, it's okay.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
I know.
you know, like 100 million people
Right.
hear this like professional commentator calling me a dummy.
Well, that's
you know?
where you're wrong. I'm not professional, and if you ask anyone, they think I suck. So at least you got that going for you.
No, not so good. But you got to think, a lot of the people that something interesting I did for the poker community, which again was an accident, was I brought a demographic in that otherwise would never have looked at poker, you know?
Yeah.
So there's like this joke kind of in the community that I made poker cool again. You know, there hasn't been a big poker boom since like 2008. And then I don't know if I can say like I'm the reason. Like I'm sure that's way too big of a load for me to claim, but I think maybe I helped get poker in front of people that never otherwise would have taken a look at poker.
Yeah, that's really good for poker.
Yeah.
And well, I'll tell you, you know, here's the good thing. The good thing is, it doesn't matter what I said. The people that watch that show would rather watch you than me. They would rather watch you than a ton of other people, and they always are. Even now, to this date, I go into the chat sometimes, and I'm like, hey, guys, what's up? Smash the like button. They're like, hey, when's Mikki coming back? It's like months later, which, by the way, when are you coming back?
So I'm like 50% to play this Thursday.
Is that with the Pearson group and them? That
Yeah,
would be
so-
a good mix for you, bro.
So it's Eric Person, Alan Keating, me. I forget.
Mikki, get in there, man.
This is the only thing, bro. So this just happened, and you know, you could see like the bone is still sticking out, and I see the surgeon the day before, which is Wednesday.
Oh.
And then to add insult to injury, actually last night we got into a car accident. We got hit by a drunk driver, pretty bad, totaled one of the cars.
Wow. No
yeah,
shit.
just last night. When I texted you around like 1:30 a.m.,
Yeah.
the accident had like just subsided.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't mean to like lead you on or whatever. I was just busy. Then we were out. Then I got hit by this drunk driver last night, and the impact was pretty bad. We were driving the Lambo truck, and I had the driver driving, and I was sitting in there, and I'm here, so I'm on the right side of the truck, and we took the impact from the left, but my buddy was sitting to my left, so his body flung from the
shit.
impact.
No belt?
It was T-bone. We got T-boned by the drunk driver.
Did he have belt on, though?
I doubt it.
Yeah, well, that's why he flung you.
Yeah, and when he flung, he landed into me, and the pain was pretty serious. So I'm going to call my surgeon. This happened just late last night. I'm going to FaceTime with the surgeon after this because I'm a little nervous. When the injury first happened, we were supposed to do one of the surgeries, and a big concern is internal bleeding or that it can hit into my throat because of where, you know, the bone's fully broken off in the middle. So I'm in a lot of pain, and like I'm not sure that I could sit for 10 hours and play like poker. I told Philman that I said I'm like 50%, but I got to see the surgeon on Wednesday. I'm gonna FaceTime after this.
Well, when I made the comment about just get there, I didn't know that. So your health is first.
Yeah.
Please do whatever's best for you, and you can always come back another time. Just make sure you're okay.
Yeah, I was supposed to actually play this week now. This week that just passed. I think Wednesday and Thursday on another show. They told me to line up. I wasn't like that stoked on it. There's a couple cool players. I think Person was one of the players. I think Keating also was one of the players, but I think they were playing on off days. They put like other players in there. Andy, I think Andy's an awesome player. I like Andy a lot.
Yeah.
He would have been cool for the lineup. I forget the names now. I know Matt Berkey was in there. To be honest, that's a huge deterrent for me. I'm not a big fan of Berkey.
He was in where?
It was one of the other shows I was supposed to play last week, but I had the injury.
Oh yeah, he played at the bike.
Yeah, right. So I had this injury, so I really was like, I'm not supposed to be out of bed. Like, I'm supposed to like really be chilling. And I was like, maybe, like, I want to get fresh air. Maybe I'll play a few hours and like leave. And they sent me to line up, and Berkey was on there, and I was like, that really waves me in one direction. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you know about the thing? Like he and I have a thing.
No.
You know anything about that?
I don't know too much about him. I know I don't like him.
Oh yeah. Well, just so you know, I didn't make him say that. Okay, that's on you, bro.
Well, what do you got?
No, I don't got anything. I'm not going to discuss my shit about him. It's a nothing burger irrelevant.
I'll tell you mine if you want.
Up to you.
I don't care.
Hey, you're here to talk, man. You want to say something? That's on you.
That man is so low on the totem pole. There's no. I have no concern, right? I don't.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, this is probably gonna do better for his brand. Just me, Mikki, just saying his name than anything he'll probably ever do, right? So I played.
Oh my god, the heat I'm gonna take. Go, I love it. No, I mean,
whatever,
I want
man.
you to
he
be
can
you.
Suck my dick, man. So listen to this, bro.
Okay.
So I play on this show, right?
Okay,
On
yeah.
your guy's show, and he's at the table, and he was one of the losers for the first 5 hours. I'm the only winner. When Phil Ivey was there, I'm the only winner, right? And he was there, and the truth is, we didn't really have much communication. Like, he was like, whatever. Like, I didn't necessarily like the guy, but like I have no reason to dislike him. Like, I just.
Is this a vibe you got?
Yeah, he just wasn't my type of guy based on the judgments I was putting on him, right? Which is also fine because you're not going to like everybody. I don't have to like everybody. It's okay.
Yeah.
But I'm like pretty polite. I'm a pretty nice guy.
Yeah,
and
you are.
And like, there's really no reason necessarily to like butt heads with me. I'm like pretty chilling, you know? Anyway, so some time goes on, and I'm looking at something that came up when you search my name, and it was a video, and they used Adam22 as the thumbnail. And I'm like, oh, I've done a few interviews with Adam.
Yeah.
That's my boy, you know. I click it, and it's Matt Berkey talking trash on me to Adam on his own show, whatever his show's called, whatever his thing is. I don't even want to say the name. We don't got to bring attention to it, but
I can't remember it.
whatever the show's called. So he's talking trash
his
on
podcast?
me.
I think
Yeah,
it's a
he's
podcast,
got a podcast, whatever. It's just like him and some guys just sitting there. I tried to watch it, and all they're doing is just sitting there talking trash. It's like they created a show to just hate on other people from their community. Because Matt Berkey's whole community is poker. It doesn't go beyond that I know of anyway. But again, I don't know too much about him.
Yeah.
But every experience I've had has been negative. So he has this show where it's like him and his buddies who are in the poker community, and their only objective is to talk trash on other people or characters in the poker community, which is so like, you would think it's just so like backwards. You know, he should be supporting the community and getting support and like bringing it up, but he's sitting there as like, I don't know, whatever.
I can't get the smirk off my face, but you have no idea. So just keep talking. You keep going.
I'm just gonna tell you what I got, right?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
So he out of nowhere, he and I, we've never even like had a real conversation like outside the poker table, and he starts talking about me that I have no ability to ever become a top ranking poker player, and that I'm an animal or I'm some kind of like creature, a beast or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, bro, you're a 50-year-old man that just started taking steroids. You must be a loser. I'm like, where do you get off? I was like, where do you get off? You know? And I'm like, this bozo. And I'm watching this thing, and I'm like, this dude's a clown. And I said, it's okay. Like, his living of existence will never compete with mine. We will never be like in the same room by real choice, you know? But, or let me say, by natural selection, he and I will never be in the same room. And that's okay. So I know that me saying his name now will be the biggest exposure he probably will ever have in his whole life. And
Well,
that's
they'll
okay.
probably have something to talk about now, so that's good for them.
Yeah, but then it gets worse. So he does this. I've never spoken to him. I don't have his number. None of that. No DM, none of that. But then after that, on his same show that he has on YouTube, he uses a photo of me as the thumbnail to get clickbait because I'm so hot on everybody wants to know more about me and see me, whatever.
Yeah.
He literally uses a photo of me as his thumbnail to a video I'm not even in.
Yeah.
This is a different video. They don't talk about me. They don't show me nothing. I'm like, bro, how are you going to not know me, then go and talk trash when I'm not even there? Right? Like, it's almost like being behind my back, but then putting it out for the world. All his fans are only going to know that side, right? Which is not even, he just made stuff up. And then after he talks trash, go make another video and use my face as clickbait. I'm like, bro, you're a grown man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Well, Mick, let me tell you. And nobody on this planet is going to believe that I did not prompt you to say that. I didn't even know we were going to talk about Matt Berkey. Whatever. You're on the show to talk about whatever you want. But yeah, when I mentioned earlier that somebody, because I purposely didn't mention the name, had that thing up of me with the meme that said that's trying to
you're
troll
saying
me.
it's...
That's him.
Oh,
and yeah, that's him. Because him and I had a falling out because when Hustler went through the Jack 4 thing, I could just tell you this. The one thing that you've been saying and I've been saying, and I don't know if people think it's soft or if they think it's whatever, sensitive, but it's just like, I don't understand the hate thing. I don't understand the hate thing. I even now, like, that should be a stepping stone for me to just fillet him because of the things you say, because I have so many things to say, but I'm not going to say them because, I've been trying really hard to make that go away, even though he's putting up posters and making himself look like, a child doing it, and he thinks he's funny, but, that's fine. I have one made for him too that I was going to put right here, and I've just decided against it because I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, I think you shouldn't.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do it. And so
I almost regret us even talking about it because like he's so irrelevant to me in my life.
I got it. And it's just like I tried to reach out to him after. I made a couple mistakes. I put him on blast when he was coming after our show. And again, I never really thought he said anything that it's free speech. You could say whatever you want, but he went hard. Matt's delivery system is very pompous. It's very know-it-all, and it's very dogmatic. There's no wiggle room. You can't debate him. You can't argue with him.
Well, his statement is like the word of God. That's how he's portraying it. I've seen it. It's how he portrays it.
That was my issue with it. And because I was being pelted by so many things and I was under so much pressure, I fought back, and I posted something on Twitter because he illegally taped one of my employees' in a conversation that he used all that information on air. And so that was my issue. But I literally 15 minutes took it down because I realized that I did not want to do that. It was a fucking mistake. And I tried to reason with him. I tried to go on his show to make it good. He wanted to lean into it because he was being arrogant about it and wanted to get it out there. I agreed. And then I got just filleted and slaughtered by their whole crew. They're like a pack of hyenas. And it is what it is. And that's fine. But to your point, yeah, and even if it's not Matt, it's like, look, there's some funny shit you can talk about on a show or a podcast, and we could do friendly trolls, or we could make fun of somebody if it's in good fun, and maybe it crosses the line. But the constant fucking hate that it's being put out by a lot of these influencers, and like when we went through this process, there was just so much nonsense, and so I'm with you on that, and it's perplexing to me because, I just don't get it. But again, I didn't know you had that experience.
One time I mentioned it once, like on my most recent No Jumper interview. We were talking about that jack forehand, me and Adam.
Yeah.
And I said something. I was like, whatever I said, and then he goes, but did you see Doug Polk's video? And I said, I can't take Doug Polk's video with any seriousness.
Sure.
And I don't really like Doug Polk. I don't know Doug Polk. Let me make that really clear.
Sure.
But watching his videos, he has great clickbait and great substance, but I think his videos are just only for the clickbait, and they're like really hard to get through. Maybe if you've like never played poker before, it's good the way he breaks stuff down, but for me it's really just like terrible.
So I'll give you go ahead.
But then it was just inside me. Like I never had a platform like just to say I don't like somebody.
Fine.
And I was
use it. And you're on my show. That's what I want you to do is just be honest about everything. So I'm not going to stop you.
But this is what I'll tell you. I think that Doug Polk, I think he's actually Doug Polk's a great poker player. I don't think Matt Berkey's a good player. I don't think he is. He's not even relevant.
Is he using his own money yet? I don't know.
I would say probably not. I mean,
know. He might be. I think he might be at this point.
Honestly, I have no idea his finances. I don't know any of that, but.
Well, I will tell you this. Let me say this about Doug, and this is known because it was out there. So, I wasn't a Doug fan. I wasn't. I did not like some of the approaches that are being taken when it comes to being too dogmatic about somebody's reputation, and he has such a big microphone that he would, he'd slaughter people, right? And but I will say this. And one night at the WSOP just some months back, I was totally hot. It was when he was having the problem with the CoinFlex thing. That was one of his advertisers. He was taking a lot of heat, which he wasn't used to.
What's CoinFlex? Crypto?
It's a Bitcoin thing. And he just was and again, he's just a sponsor. Like, whatever. I don't even want to get into that because I don't have no judgment on it. I like Doug. And he was taking some heat on it. And, Phil Hellmuth always wore the Bitcoin hat, and Doug always gave...
Lithium Bitcoin.
Yeah, he always gave him a bunch of shit about it. So I took a sleep chocolate or two, and I was high as fuck.
Yeah.
And I was laying in the room in Paris. And I don't know why I did it. I just put out a tweet about, like, trolling. Why troll Hellmuth? Now you kind of know what it's like. That's why we should be careful. I don't know what it was. It was a little too aggressive. But there's no excuse. I don't back away from things. That is just the truth. And then I woke up the next morning to being just slaughtered by Doug. And he has such a following. It was like, you're the worst poker player in the world. You're this, you're something, you're an idiot, whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I look at it, I'm like, oh, that was a little bit like, why did I proactively just say that? Like, what do I care? So anyways, long story short, him and I made good on a call. We weren't really buddies. We just kind of like called a truce.
Yeah.
Just because it's best. We both run streams. It's like not worth it. And we just like, whatever. But then Doug came down to play on our show. I respect him for doing that, even after the Jack 4 thing. And we embraced him. We brought him in. We showed him everything. And we got to know each other. And he made the statement to me, and this is what he said. He said, I had a totally different opinion of you, and now that I meet you, you're actually likable, and I like you. And I went, I got to be honest, same. Like, I really like Doug Polk, and I will say this, Doug is, in my opinion, and I know, like you said, it could be corny, but I think Doug Polk is extremely talented when it comes to his business endeavors. He's charismatic on the mic, unlike some of the other people we mentioned. He's very good at what he does. I just had a little bit of an issue on some of the attack stuff, but that's his business, and he runs a great stream. I support it. All his people are welcome at our place, and vice versa. He just, a couple of weeks ago, said, hey, if you're ever in town, we're planning on, because they're they're relaunching their stream with a new technology and a new room, and so it's going to be really cool for them, and he's going to put together some bigger games, and I was saying to him, he was saying to me, come and play. So we're totally good. And but I just want to get that out there. But I understand what you're saying. It's like, why? Why is everyone saying these things? Like, we're all part of the poker community. Why are we trying to tear it down? I mean, even like for me, yeah, we had an incident that needed to be dealt with, and we need to make some changes. 100%.
Oh,
but why try to tear down something great that everybody loves? That's good for poker.
It's really good for poker. You got to think like poker is like, how do you say, like the way an indie film would be. It's like an indie sport almost. You know, it's like a small sport, small like population of like small exposure. You know what I mean? Like you would think like it's really good for the industry. And the thing is that if everybody was bigged up in poker, that means that everybody has more to take from, right? So let's say like you wanted to make a living off being a poker podcast or whatever, right? The more love you give poker, the bigger the scene is, and then the bigger the piece of the pie is for you to get. So it's if you can just all support each other, there's so much to go around. You don't have to be like the naysayer or like shut people out or you know.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's like I said. I'm kind of I communicate very well. I'm a fighter. I have a ton of things to say. Even on that note, I'm not going to say them. I know this is. I don't mean it to sound passive aggressive, but like ultimately, even some of the people we were talking about, like Matt's never went personal on me. I will never go personal on him.
You went personal on me for no reason.
I'm just saying, like my experience, and I. Like was shocked by your statement because now it puts me on the burner again a little bit because they'll be probably talking about you, but.
Whatever. Now he can use my photo for thumbnail with justification.
Yeah, but I just, for me, it's like I just want peace because it's like we're all here for the same thing, kind of. Like we all love poker. We all have some kind of say in the poker world. It's just like, you know, I regret. Like I'll tell you this. I found out who my friends were through this controversy. I really did. I found there's some people that I thought had my back that didn't, and I found some people that I didn't know had my back and did. So there was a good pruning of it. But you know, for me, I think it's unfortunate that happened to you because what the fuck have you ever done to anyone negative? I mean, let's just say, how about this? Let's say you'll never be a great poker player. I'm not saying you won't. Understand? This is
let's pretend. Let's pretend. I'm the worst poker player in the world,
and you're always going to be.
Yeah.
But you're great for poker. People want to watch you. You entertain them. They're interested in you. Like, why tear you down? It doesn't. And even if not for that, why do that? You're a human being. Like, why? What's the purpose of that? So those things don't compute to me. Not to mention, you're a fucking nice guy. Like, so why? So that's kind of what you're saying, right? Like, why is this happening? It doesn't make sense to me.
I was always nice to him. Yeah. I'm kind of nice to everybody.
Yeah, you
honestly.
really are. I got to know you the last couple times you played, and that's where I really became a fan. I became a fan of how nice. I don't give a shit. How about this? I don't give a shit if everything you told me is not true. That would suck. Although I believe you and everything because they're all proven. But even so, like, you're just a nice person. So whatever, man. Like, do your thing. You know, fucking do your thing.
Thank you.
And people are loving it. So they're gonna love this show.
Yeah, thank you. You know, there was a hand I played. I was all in against Wesley. I had pocket jacks. He had ace queen. Flop comes queen like 10. It came queen jack. I remember because I flopped a set. He flopped top, right?
Yeah.
So it comes queen jack blank, and the turn is a king. And the dealer, who's like a good friend of mine, you know, we like know each other outside the casino. I said to her, I said, don't you do this to me. And I said something. I said, I'm already getting my dick beat to shreds. Like, you don't have to put a king on the turn. I don't want to sweat this one. Just let me win, you know? And they changed the mics. But what the dealer had said after, who's, again, a friend of mine, she goes, no. So the hand plays out and I win. It's not on my show. Yeah, on your show.
Oh, on my show.
Yeah. So the hand plays out and I win. And I said to the dealer, I said, don't take it personal. You know,
I remember this. And you felt bad, and then
Yeah, because I was joking with her. She and I know each other, like, you know. But I just wanted to really, really make. I was trying to be polite. I just want to really, really make sure that she knows, like, because the thing is, if someone doesn't know that me and her are friends and they're watching on camera,
that's right.
They can say like, oh, he was rude to the dealer. And the truth is, I'm really like never really rude, you know?
Yeah.
And so I didn't want her to feel that viewers were getting the wrong perspective.
That's right.
So I dug a little more and I said, you know, like, I love you. I didn't mean it.
I remember. Lauren.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember, of course.
And she goes, no, Mikki, you're the nicest player I've ever dealt with.
Yeah. Inside
or outside of a casino. Like, you're like the best. I love you, right?
Yeah.
And as a joke, I said, can you say that one more time for the fans?
Yeah, see, I should take your advice on that and your lead because you know, a lot of people that watch the show believe like I'm like a polarized personality and kind of a douchebag because of the trolling and all the stuff we do. But what they don't understand is it's like with Ludacris, him and I are friends.
Yeah.
Like we literally enjoy the banter. I only do that with him because we have that kind of unwritten like deal.
Yeah.
But I never do that to any players, any dealers, anything. So you were smart in doing that because you probably would have taken so much hate for being an asshole.
Well,
but they don't get it.
I did get some because they like took her mic off, or she doesn't have a mic or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So they don't hear her saying like, Mikki, you're the best player I've ever dealt to like in my life, and like I love you. And
Right.
they don't hear that. They just hear me like, you know, being like, don't you do that. Don't you put that king there. You know, and then saying like, I'm really sorry. You know, I hope you
like,
didn't.
what a jerk, what a bully.
Yeah. So I did get some of that, but people don't know. Like, you know, you had said earlier to me that I surprised you, like how like cordial or whatever, you know, and a lot of people that never met me don't know that. Like they don't see that.
No, you would come across as someone that like, that dude's I don't like, who the fuck's he? But that's where it's like you should get to know somebody first before you cast that judgment. Is the popularity that you've gained through all this influencing and all the attention worth it? Meaning worth it is the trolling and the hate and some of the things you get, is the popularity still worth it?
I would have to say the answer is obvious, because if it wasn't worth it, I would just quit. Like I would just stop being like I'll just like stop being famous or whatever. You know, I just like delete everything.
Yeah.
So it opened a lot of cool doors. First of all, I got to meet a lot of interesting people that exist in the same plane of existence of me, right? Like a lot of them happen to be stars, because if you're really, really good at your craft, you become well known for that. So I have this theory where they say it's lonely at the top, but it is. But everybody has their own pyramid that they're the top of.
Yeah.
So if you're like the top whatever your pyramid is, let's say you're the best NBA player in the world, right? Well, for people that you become friends with, you're friends with them because you're compatible with them, right? You have similar interests and what have you. So if you're the number one player of the NBA, that means you can't really hang out with the number 2 guy and the number 4 guy and the number 10 guy, because you're just on different planes of existence, right? They're not the same. You're not compatible. Like Kobe, who you can arguably say was number 1, would wake up at 5 a.m. to work out before the workout, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He put in the work.
So how can he hang out with a guy that wants to sleep until 7 and only make the mandatory workout? Like they're not, right?
That is, yeah.
So what does Kobe have to do there? Well, he would have to go to like the NFL and find the number 1 NFL guy and say, me and you are the same. We both wake up at 4 a.m. to hit the gym before we hit the gym, you know, and so on and so forth. So I found a lot of people like that. Now I'm not like an athlete, but some of like the top athletes, like, you know, like me and Odell, for example, we had connected. I'm the top in gambling. He's like, for example, arguably the top in football. So he goes, who do I hang out with that's the top? And then I say, who do I hang out with the top? We connected and we're boys. And same with, you know, maybe it'd be Drake or Lil Baby or Key Glock or the Suicide Boys, whoever it may be, like we're all the tops, you know? And so I met really cool people. They saw that there's another person at top of a pyramid that's like-minded to them, and they contacted me and they said, yo, I think we're compatible. Let's see if we're friends.
Well, yeah. And they say, you know, your network is your net worth. And let me be clear when I make the next statement, and I know you're like this, so you'll agree with this. We've talked a little about this. I can't remember what the subject was, but, you know, I believe like in life, everybody deserves the same respect. And what I mean by that is like, if it's somebody bringing me an iced tea, I will give them the same respect as I give somebody that is a multi-billionaire who whatever.
Sure.
I do believe in ranking systems when it comes to because they say, you know, the total sum of who you are will be the top 5 people you hang around with. There are a lot of people you can hang around with and be associated with that will bring you down. And I've said before, if you put a positive person and a negative person in a room together for 2 days, they're both going to come out negative. There's a big thing about protecting your brain and your mind and about wanting to go to the next level in life. And so you got to be with like-minded people that are in that same category. But now when you say that, or when I say that, that does not mean that like you don't love and respect anyone of any economic caliber or level or status, because I'm a firm believer that, because I see a lot of people that are you know that I know that are wealthy and have so much status, and I hate to say it, and sometimes those other people don't exist to them, and I think it's sad. Personally,
I agree with you. You can't disregard anybody for like their status or whatever.
Yeah.
But this is what I look at it like. I know what my interests are in life. Like I know, right? I know what I enjoy doing.
Right.
So if I'm sitting on my couch with 5, let's call it unmotivated people, right? And we're sitting on the couch and someone has an idea what they want to do today. They'll be like, hey, I just got my paycheck for the week. We should go to the mall and blow it, right?
Yep.
That's what we're going to do. There's 5 of us. So even if I don't want to do that and I'd rather be doing something productive, the other 4 voted, oh, we're going to go to the mall and blow our entire check, right? Yeah. But if I'm sitting on my couch and I have 4 other billionaires with me, nobody's saying, let's go to the mall and blow our week's check, right? What they're saying instead is, hey, I just came up with this new idea. I think it's really good. Let's go create. Let's go build. Let's go do that. And that's what I'd rather be doing is building.
That's who
and
you are.
Yeah.
And that's different because I believe in that too. I don't like surrounding myself with people that are going in a different direction because
we're not
I'm
compatible.
bored and not compatible. I'm not interested in it. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to even talk about those things. They're not interesting to me. What's interesting to me is, how you beat like fucking Baccarat and like what that $50 million deal looks like and how
it looks nice for the
let's
record.
go do a fucking movie together. Like those are the things because I always want my trajectory to go up because I'm interested in creating. I've always been like an entrepreneur creator. So that resonates with me. But I just want people, the reason I said that is I want people watching to understand there's a difference to surrounding yourself with people that you want to be like and that you want to keep going higher than disregarding a person that has chosen to take this path. They deserve respect. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, and I know you would because I know you and I know how you are now. So I know you would agree with that. When it comes to poker, have you put to be a top poker? Okay, so this is where let me ask you this: to be a top poker player, there's different levels. Like there's poker players that are popular on a show because of their performance, because of their style, because of their persona, and then there's professional poker players that are crushing dollar-wise, okay? That probably are going to have a tough time getting a seat on a show like mine because unless you're either really popular, famous poker player that's really good or you're a good character and action player. Right. Those are the precursors, right, to get on a show. You can't just be like a killer poker player with no personality, nothing else. You're just going to come and crush the game.
You're not adding to the game.
Not adding
You're literally
to the game.
just taking.
So my question to you is... have you actually put in the work in the lab or do you plan to become a good poker player? Because like, I'll just say this, like, I am sure that some of these, like, I have no doubt that Alan Keating fucking knows how to play poker. But I also know that he has a rhyme, a reason, and a plan for everything he does besides just putting together the piece of the puzzle. Sure. So when he comes onto a show, whatever, he's doing him, okay? You got Eric Persons, who is, I interviewed him. I don't know if you watched that show. He's a great, I actually now consider him like, not a friend, like we're buddies, but I like him. I got to understand him.
I texted him this morning. I think he and I have had some prospective business together. So I know Eric really well.
Oh.
Outside of a camera and outside of a poker table. And I think there are certain perspectives of him that people will never understand. And but I do. And I got to tell you, like, I didn't like Eric when I first was introduced to his character.
That makes sense.
Of course
not.
Of course. But as he and I got to know each other outside of a camera or poker table,
outside of that,
the amount of respect I have for him and what he's doing, I don't want to explain because I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. Because I understand what he's doing, and I don't want to.
What he's doing in his poker career. Building his brand?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that what you mean?
Things of that nature.
General,
yeah, that's what I mean.
Nature.
That's sort of what I mean.
Okay.
I'm not meaning anything negative. I'm only
yeah.
talking about that. I don't want to let it out and then it dampers what he's trying to do on that trajectory.
You want him to do it the way he wants to do it organically without a heads up.
Right. And I have to give him so much respect for knowing him actually, more so who he is versus than what everybody thinks he is. I have to give him so much respect for being who he is and then privately and then being who he is publicly. I have to give him a lot of respect. And I almost wish that I did text him this morning, but I wish I called him and said, can I just say it? Because I have a lot of respect actually for the way he's handling it.
Yeah, I get it. And I get what you're, why you're backing off that. But so my point is this. I think Eric Person's a smart person. I know he knows how to play poker really well. Same with Alan Keating, these guys, but they put on shows. Even Eric will tell you, if you're under 40, 50% VPIP, he doesn't want you in his game. I get that, right? Yeah. Totally makes sense. Great for the show. Okay. But what he did last week on the bike was a misclick. It was a punt. He did something with the jack forehand.
I don't think it was as much as upset as he seemed to be. I think it was very methodical. It was just unfortunate that Andy flopped top set.
That's right.
I think it was. I think I know exactly what he was doing. And I don't think it was a misclick.
Okay. Well, great. I'm not saying it was a misclick, but he wasn't
bad timing.
It was bad timing. Okay. Yeah. But I guess what I'm saying is how do you plan on I know you don't plan on building a poker career around being on a show, but what type of player do you want to be? Like, do you want to be the player that is playing like that, or do you want to be the player that's really playing a winning formula? Because over time, Mikki, like those type of formulas are not going to translate into winning poker. There's just too much variance in it, and there's too many mistakes. So I guess what I'm asking you is, who do you want to be?
So the answer is very easy for me because I was already committed on this track, 100%.
Right? Okay.
Do I want to be a character or do I want to be a winning player?
That's right.
Right. I want to be a winning player. I want to be a silent, quiet assassin. I want to be a top-ranked tournament player. These are like my ideals, right? I want to be I want to hold bracelets. I want to be not invited to cash games. Now, the reason that I think it's going to be different for me than it is almost any other poker player in history,
I know what you're going to say,
is outside of the poker world. You know, people have said I'm like the world's most famous gambler. I'm already a character, you know. No matter what happens, people are going to tune in to see me. So if I'm crushing and I'm bad for your game, Nick, you don't have a choice. You have to keep inviting me.
I get it. You're invited.
Yeah.
You're invited. But will you change your game for the show and still stay a character and do things you wouldn't do if you wanted to be a complete crusher for the sake of the show?
I can't control myself sometimes.
Okay.
I can't control myself. I have to play, you know, some Jack 4 like hands. I can't control myself.
Are you putting the work in the lab to become this type of player you're shooting for? Are you putting the work in? In
Omaha. So the short answer is in Omaha, yes. In Hold'em, only whatever filters out through the lab of Omaha, right?
Okay.
So there is some translation.
You can pick up a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, there is like a big, strong foundation that applies to any version of poker. But I'm studying PLO. That's where I'm in the lab at. I think I'll always be a little bit of a character, even when I'm on the show, because I just can't control myself, you know, and it's fun for me and whatever. And but ultimately, I want to be a winning player with the winning formula, tight formula, and I'll always get the views. So I'll always be invited.
I agree.
Yeah.
You're invited, my brother. And I hope your thing heals your collarbone so you can get your ass over to our show next week.
Yeah.
But if not, we'll get you next time. Okay, this is transiting out of poker, and then I'm going to come back into it. I just thought of it. So you have lived a pretty crazy life, but you're straight edge. During that straight edge life, I think, and I could be wrong, did you not mention a lot of like sexual debauchery?
Yeah. Okay. I had quite some. I always was like a sexual deviant. I was always very sexually active and all of that. And when I like went straight edge, like I needed like some kind of outlet. So I suppose I really, really pumped up the numbers, especially as I started becoming a public figure and whatever. So there's a lot of groupies around, like, I don't want to say necessarily my groupies, but we'll say my friends' groupies, right? So my friends are way world famous.
I respect how careful you are with the brag, but okay.
Yeah. There's a lot.
I tell you what, if a lot of women see stacks and stacks and stacks, and you're like popular, it's just the way it is, bro.
Yeah. So I went into that, but I will say this. So I've had a girl for quite some time, and in the beginning.
Still?
Yeah, so even current. And in the beginning, we met through like group sex, you know, like that was like the environment we met, you know, and it was like all love and fun and games. Like we were just with the wits, you know. And some time went on and she goes, hey, I'm not really interested in that. I just want to be one-on-one, but live your life. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to live my life. That's who I am. So if you're cool, like on this, like, I guess the non-nice way to put it is a one-sided open relationship.
Okay.
Right? It's a not nice way to
now
put it.
Or before?
No. For like a decent mid part of the relationship.
You fell hard for her.
And then I had this moment where we did like this like little orgy situation. We started in like Maryland and then New Jersey and then Vegas and LA.
You were on an orgy circuit?
Yeah.
Oh my God,
yeah.
bro.
And it was quite a fun experience. But something had struck me during the time that we were in Vegas. We were, you know, having an orgy, you know, like just living our lives, whatever. And all of a sudden inside of me, I said, I don't like the way I feel right now. I said, something is making me unhappy and I don't know what it is. And I've been very overstimulated for like 2 weeks that we've been doing this circuit. And the thing is with like orgies, especially when you're traveling with a lot of the same people, like let's pretend the orgy is 10 girls, but like 4 or 5 of them have like traveled a couple cities with me. You have to, so when you're in a relationship, even like not like a platonic, even like me and you, right? If me and you travel together, I have to adhere to some of your likes and dislikes and you to mine.
Yeah, you have to adapt to being around a person, yeah.
Right, so imagine that you have to adapt to 5 other people 24 hours a day at all of your most vulnerable times.
Yeah, it's like having your business partners all over again.
Exactly. It becomes really, really difficult. And I thought maybe that's what it could be. So I walked out of one of the bedrooms that we were like, you know, hooking up in or whatever. And I called my girl and I said, hey, just so you know, like, this is what I'm doing right now. This is where I've been for 2 weeks or whatever. I don't like the way this makes me feel. are you down, like, if I cut all these extra women and just me and you are full on, like, I'm going to give you my full attention and I want to see if that makes me feel better about myself. And she's like, yeah, of course, I'd love nothing more. Like, awesome. Like, why would she say no, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And so we've been doing that. It's been like, I don't know. Like,
do you feel 10x better? 5x?
I want to give you an easy answer, but
Yeah.
the truth is there are now new relationship hurdles she and I have, right? Because now I can't just avoid a conversation and go out with a different girl. Now I have to face her one-on-one. Right. So I feel things are easier in the sense of there's less external work, but not easier in the sense of internal work, because now I have to really, really make sure that she's being treated the way she needs to be treated. And
is she worth it?
And well, that's a question I ask myself all the time, and I would say I believe so. But
are you in love?
For sure, I definitely love her. I'm in love with her. I love the girl to death. She's
Yeah.
like 90% the absolute ideal, perfect person I can ever hand create. But there's 10% here that she and I both are working on. There's certain things she does that agitate me, and I'm like, hey, I need
Mick, you know that's going to be with anybody. No, dude, I promise. I give you my word. I don't care where you go, what you do, in any girl you're with, if you ever want to be monogamous or whatever version of that you want to be, your 90-10 is a winning formula, bro. You just have to put in the work.
That 10 just is so blaring.
But you're
in my
not going to
face
get
sometimes.
you're not going to get 100. You're not going to get 98. I'm telling you right now.
10 is a
don't
win?
fuck it up. 10 is a
10
win,
is a win.
bro. Oh yeah, you could sell that for 50 million. That's for sure, bro.
I'll tell you, she's so goddamn hot. I gotta be honest. She's so
Can I?
hot.
Can I? Because I'm going to put a couple clips up. I'm going to
Yeah.
put a clip up of the hand where I troll you and then
Yeah.
have to apologize. This is just me thinking now.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably put a clip up of somebody that was saying those things about you. I'm just thinking of doing that. And then can I put a picture up of her that's like and say, or is that the private part of your life?
It is private. I've never posted.
I won't
like
put
I've
her
never...
name, just like when you say she's so fucking hot, I just pop it up or no?
Let me think about it.
All right,
Let
we'll
me
think about it. All right,
yeah.
if it doesn't pop up, it's because he said no.
Yeah, that's
people.
fine because
All
I've
right.
never put her out there before. Like
Up to you.
Yeah. That's like one of the things, like my age and like my name.
Come on,
like,
man.
it's, like,
Let's
one
see
of
what
the things.
this chick looks like, bro.
I'll definitely at least show you.
I know I'm going to see it after. I'll
yeah,
probably
yeah.
see all the good stuff too, right? You're going to show me the good
I'll
stuff?
show you, bro. She's so goddamn hot.
all right. But anyways, yeah, dude, 10, I'm telling you, like the grass probably is, if you love her that much, I'm just going to tell you this, and you dig it, and you just said all the things you said because you kind of like really smiled when you did it, so I know you mean it. Dude, don't mess it up. Don't be that typical guy that goes, oh, I need my freedom, I got it, whatever. Because I'm telling you, when you get in that other one and it's like 25%, you're going to be sick, and she's not going to take you back, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Thank
not
you for
reality
saying
based.
that.
Yeah, I mean
Thank
it, though,
you.
too. I really mean it.
Yeah, I believe you. I
well,
believe you.
Okay. Let's see here. Do you want a family someday?
Yeah, I do. I have a son.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's I try to keep my family kind of private.
Yeah.
I have a son. He is 15 months old now. He's 14 and a half months old. And he lives in Las Vegas.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You see him?
Yeah. I was just with him last week. I was out in Vegas.
It's a different feeling when you finally have someone that's your own kid, isn't it? It's a special love.
It's really interesting. I don't want to say not prepared, not like that, but I wasn't like conditioned, you know, to be ready to I don't know how to handle a son. Like, I don't know, like I'm still learning the do's and don'ts, you know. It's
just love him.
Yeah.
All the rest comes into play. Now, I know this is a bad transition to go from your son, how much you love him, but I forgot to ask you a couple questions that I just thought of. If you're willing, like, you didn't want to tell the people your most coveted secret drug recipe because it's too much. Is there like, do you have two questions? Do you have like something in one of these, because these circuits you went on, that is like the most bizarre thing that's ever happened that you could talk about sexually with all these girls? And do you have a particular fetish that you're not embarrassed to tell us? Because it's the kind of shit people want to be asked. They don't want to, like, most people that interview people, they're so soft and they just don't dig. I like to dig.
All right, so the first question is like the most bizarre thing I ever seen.
Yeah, or did. That's like, whoa.
I had one time. This wasn't in an orgy, but I had one that me and her did a lot of. We had to push a lot of limits to figure out what we like and don't like. And one time she, people are gonna hate this one. She ate my feces one time.
Oh my God! That's her idea.
It was like a mixed idea. The thing is, she liked being controlled and forced to do things. You know, like that's what she wanted. You know, like that, like the CNC.
So you took a dump in her mouth?
No, it wasn't quite like that.
Oh God, bro! I'm sorry I asked.
Go
on though. Keep going.
I'll tell you, like in the orgy thing, not that this is bizarre, but there's like a common thing that was pretty interesting. There were so many girls that I know from all over the country, all over the world, but mostly in the country, that couldn't make it, right? So they'd say, hey, can you video me during some of the sexcapades?
Sure.
So we'd put like a giant group video call so all the girls that couldn't be there can at least watch us bang the other girls. So that was like a pretty common thing. One time, I have a cool memory. This, I actually took a screen grab of it. One of the girls that was in the video was out in public, and she just stripped butt naked and just started playing with herself. And she's like out in public around all these people, but it's like while she was watching the rest of us like bang these other girls.
Wow.
Yeah. So she was like one of the little squares on the screen, like watching us. She was stripped naked. That was cool.
So the second question is, what's the Mikki fetish that people would go, are you kidding me? Do you have one, or is it just you're just basic straight stuff?
Definitely not basic straight stuff.
Yeah.
I love, I think the reason that I like group stuff is because I love, I really don't want to keep giving the image of like this like wild, crazy
This is in your
sex.
past. It's just
It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy, right?
fantasy,
It's the concept of the fantasy, right? I like good girls, right? Like in real life, like if you're a sweet, bubbly, adorable girl, like you know, woman, that's what I prefer. I prefer sweet women, right?
Yeah. In their insides, you want them to be really sweet.
Yeah,
nice
loving
girls,
and caring and just nice. But a sexual fantasy is I love sluts, right? So I think that's part of the reason why I love gangbangs is because I can take one girl and just pass her around and just, you know, she'll just suck off everybody and like just for the team and like, but it's out of love. It's not like out of disrespect to the girl. Like we're not like gangbanging her like, oh, if you do this, I'll pay your rent. And if you don't, like you are going to go homeless. It's not like this. I got to love, like I love sluts. So I love like public stuff. And I think the public stuff feeds off that same concept.
What do you mean by public stuff? Voyeur stuff?
Yeah,
public
voyeur
nudity?
stuff. Like public nudity, voyeurs. Like I love when girls are just out there naked, just living, you know, being in
You
public
like that.
naked, being seen, stuff like that. Because I think it just feeds into that like really like slutty sexual
now, you know
fantasy.
the heat you're going to take from the feminist group and the heat I'm going to take for posting it.
Yeah. Well, I'm a huge feminist. I support I support women fully. I think that they should pay half of all of my tabs. I think
Oh my God, dude, you're setting me up for disaster.
I think women should start opening my car door. I think women should fly me on vacation.
Dude, you're killing me.
I think they should go topless as much as guys go topless.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're equal.
I'm 100% equal.
Opportunity.
Yeah, I believe they should vote, and I believe they should be able to drive cars just like men. And you know, unfortunately, they're not so talented in that department specifically. But you know, I believe it. I'm a feminist, 100%.
Fucking
Equal.
sweating over here, bro.
I'm equal rights, 100%.
Yep. Well, that's good to know. That's good.
But all jokes aside, I do love and care for women. Like I care for all women the same way I care for men. Like I really do. I care for just a human in general. Like
totally.
But I do have certain sexual fantasies like in that regard. Like
I totally understand. Yeah. Well, you know the difference between you and all the people. You're being honest.
Yeah.
That's just the truth. There's so many people that have so many things and skeletons and ideas and fantasies, and they'd never talk about that. I mean, so kudos to you for at least doing it. Okay, transitioning. That was really interesting. Transitioning, if for you.
My son to fetishes. Yeah, what's next?
Yeah. After fetishes, this is pretty tame. At the end of the day, if you could just take a magic wand, which you probably have because you have all the resources to do what you want, what's the perfect dream life personally and professionally for you? If you could make the most money you could by doing something you love, if that thing couldn't even create 1 cent, what would that be though if it could, and what's the perfect life professionally in business?
So I'm already working on that. So I'm at the point in my life where I don't do things because I have to do things. I do things because I want to do them, right? And I want to help people. I like helping people. My life was only saved and built. I only have what I have today because somewhere along the line, and tomorrow marks 7 years, somebody else reached out and helped me. So there's like kind of two facets that I'm doing actively in my life. The first is I started this foundation where I offer this service totally for free to anybody in the country. If they're struggling with gambling addiction, mental health like depression, anxiety, if they're struggling with drug addiction, alcoholism, eating disorders, total free service. I don't care like where you're from. I don't care how much you got or what you don't got.
How do you provide the service of those things?
So if you go on Instagram, I started a page. It's called Shaken Hearts, right? ShakenHearts. You send a DM to that page. When you send a DM, but it basically you'll receive a link, and you click the link, and you fill out some basic information, your name, your cell phone number, where are you from, and you click like what is it that you struggle from. And when you submit it, it goes to one of my volunteers, right? And the volunteers are then doing all the legwork to find you.
So you've put together resources to help in these particular areas to help people.
Totally for
That's
free.
Pretty cool, bro.
Yeah. And the goal is just to help as many people as we
really
can.
awesome.
Yeah, and if anybody, I don't know which camera to look into, I'm gonna look here. If you're struggling or you know someone struggling, whether it be gambling addiction, mental health like depression, anxiety, drug addiction, alcoholism, whatever it may be, please reach out to Shaken Heart, send a DM, and I got you, man. Like I got you.
That's really cool. Shaken Hearts.
Yeah,
Instagram.
Shaken Hearts.
Cool. I dig that.
And I'll tell you, there's the second part that's maybe a little more entertaining to hear.
Yeah.
So I had this idea. What happened was kind of early on when like a lot of these like big hip hop artists started following me. All these kids would DM me like, "Yo, can you put my song on your Instagram story?" And the truth is, I'm not like a whore. You can't buy and sell me. Like you can't wave a couple of bucks in my face.
You gotta do things from your heart.
Yeah, if I'm not driving, it ain't gonna happen, right? And a lot of them I'd message back like, "Bro, I gotta be honest, I don't like your song. Like I'm not gonna play it, right?" And the messages kept coming and coming, and they start offering money, and I'm like, "What is going on? Why?" And then I realized, because if I just play one person's song one time, and one of my big name followers likes that song,
Sure.
and asks me for that kid's info, that kid's whole life's gonna change. So I said, well, what's a way I can use this to really help people? Like, how can I really like make this efficient? So I put out a video that I had this intention on taking like up and coming athletes, up and coming entertainers, comedians, musicians, rappers, artists, producers, whatever, and trying to find a way to put them in these meetings, right? I cannot put a kid who's in, I'm gonna make this up, a kid that lives in Spain and he's really good at, like American football. Like I can't just put him in the NFL, but I can get him a meeting with like a lot of coaches and a lot of team owners and stuff like that, or scouts, and they can kind of take it from there, a little lift. So I put out a video stating I have interest in this, and in the video I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it, I don't know if I can figure it out, but I'm gonna work on it. What happened was, you ever heard of Blackstone?
Blackstone is a hold on, time out. You could do a fund. It's a I can't think of the name.
It's one of the biggest companies in the world.
Yeah,
they own like the most amount of real estate in the whole planet.
Yeah, Blackstone. They basically do funds. They buy real estate and they take investors and they buy rentals. Yeah,
right. One of the most powerful companies on the planet.
Hedge fund.
Right. Yeah. So a couple of the executives actually follow me, like fans of mine. And one of them reached out and he said, "Hey, like this is who I am. Here's all my credentials, blah, blah, blah." He goes, "We're creating a division." So I don't know if you know this, but the NBA is expanding. They're adding a team to the NBA.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but I said it another time, so it's already out there. So the NBA is
what city?
Las Vegas.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So a division of Blackstone is the one that owns the new team, which is Las Vegas. They also own the stadium in Vegas. And they said, "Hey, can we make you CEO of the sister division?" Because that video I posted, they said, "We have that same idea, but we don't have the resource. We're not out there. We're not, we don't have a public figure. We don't have like an ambassador, a brand ambassador, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
That we don't have those connections. We just have all the money in the world that will ever be created. So we're gonna buy these relationships. But you have them. So can we partner? You could be CEO, and you'll like continue doing the outreach and the marketing. So we can put the money behind you to get the people all over the world, and we can, if they want to play basketball, we can fast track them theoretically to the NBA because we also own the team."
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I found a way to help all these up and coming people. The thing with that is like, so many people with real raw talent will never make it for various reasons. One, they have to quit early because they don't have the money. They have to go get a job instead of pursuing their entertain, whatever it may be.
There's a ton of people out there that could be really famous.
Right. And the ones that, let's say that's not even the main issue. The other is they will never get the phone number of the owner of the Raiders, for example. They will never have it.
Right.
But if I can just make a little quick group chat and say, "Yo, you should check this kid out," and then they figure the rest out. Like I just changed and saved. I just made that whole kid's life. I could change a life that way.
Totally, bro. Yeah.
So that was my concept behind it. They said, "We have the same concept, but we have the money, and we want to give you the money, and you do it." So those are like the two things that were like kind of ideals. They both allow me to help people while still making a living. So, this one helps me make a living, if it plays out.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
Yeah, so those are the
really
things.
That's really great, man. I dig it. I really, really am impressed with it. Here's my last questions for you, unless you have anything, and that is there anything you want people to know about you that you don't think they know, or when you're gone, what do you want people to know about you or remember about you? And if you have any final thoughts, the mic's yours, man. And I know I put you on the spot. I know it's heavy, and we didn't plan any of these things, so just just come from the hip.
That's so heavy.
Yeah.
I would just like to create something that a long time down the road, people are still able to utilize.
Right. Got it. Well, you got some things that are in motion that look, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say before we wrap this bitch up?
For no reason at all, I just want to shout out this page called Funny Degenerate.
Okay.
So check this out. It's like
Is it Instagram?
Instagram. It's like the fastest growing meme page, but it's gambling specific.
Funny Degenerate.
Yeah. It's so funny, this page. Donald Trump Jr. follows this page, and he actually DM'd the Instagram page. And it's my boy who owns the page. DM'd him and was like, love your content, keep it up.
That's awesome.
And it's just like the most savage memes about gambling, big booty Latinas, and like doing blow, right?
You mentioned you love making memes.
I love memes. I really just want to be funny on the internet, to be honest. Like, if I can start my brand over,
Yeah.
I would completely have wiped
If you
the
can
slate.
make a bunch of money and maybe even do something, whatever, you would just love to do that.
I just want to make memes. Yeah, I love that. I have like a really vile, just like a flagrant, just like disrespectful sense of humor. I have like a really, really vile sense of humor, and it's vulgar, and it's so hard for me to portray it, especially because my brand is like not that, right?
Right. And do you ever take any heed into the fact that if you want to be a CEO of this company or do this or do that, that you have to like maybe start watering your shit down just because they might have to back away from it, bro?
So a lot of these deals that came my way, like this one, they say, they say like, hey, you have to like be political, like, if you're gonna be a CEO,
that's what I mean. You have to get your shit together.
Yeah, they're like, we're putting a few brands, like, we're putting so much money into this, on tens of millions, like, you gotta
calm down.
Yeah. And I have a lot of trouble crossing the line, so I try to keep the comedy off my main page. Like, I really try hard, but it's really challenging. So what people don't realize is, like, only the people that really know me, they know that I'm always trolling. Like all my stuff's real, like, it's all serious, but like low key, bro, the sense of humor I have, like when you went from sun to fetish, bro, this is like the most like vanilla.
Dude, I know it is.
Like,
I know this is vanilla.
Yeah,
I know I know what you're doing and not doing and why. I get it. So I'm just trying to get as much out of you as we can get here for you to still not lose all your endorsements. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
Yeah.
You sit on a lot of boards for companies?
So currently no, but that's a lot of the conversation. Honestly, that's a very long process. It's not so easy. It's not just like, hey kid, you want to be on our board?
Yeah, because you mentioned to me there's some people asking you to be on their boards, right?
Yeah, there are some boards that I've been invited to have a seat at, right? And it's a very long process. There's two main portions of the process I found so far. First of all, I'm not experienced in that. I never sat on a board, right? So I'm learning. I feel like this my whole life. I feel like I'm learning how to play basketball in the middle of a Lakers game, right? Like I'm learning how to dribble for the first time.
You're learning.
Yeah, I'm learning as I go. So I don't currently sit on any board, to answer your question. But this page, Funny Degenerate, it allows me an outlet for like comedy, man. They're so savage.
That's cool.
So we've been creating memes, me and the guy who owns the page, and posting the memes out there. And they're like going out for, like, Donald Trump Jr. is literally watching.
He gives you the ability to post?
Yeah, bro. I do anything I want, bro. So I sent him a photo. I sent him a photo last week of me naked, and I have like, I think it was like $250,000 covering my dick in cash.
Yeah.
So
you could have probably covered it with like about 50 ball, but
fun fact about me that I've yet to get to say this. I have a huge dick, right?
This guy's out of his mind. I love it. You want to show everyone?
I mean, I'll show. I don't know if you can put it on YouTube. But
Go
I'll
ahead, show
I'll
him.
put my dick out. Hold on.
Show him.
It's also pierced, for the record.
Okay, show everyone.
So it doesn't look good.
No, you flaccid. I get it.
And it's pierced. Yeah.
Huge dick. Can you blur it? Okay.
So,
dude, if you are you're going to be the #1 show. I'm telling you, people are going to love this. You're out of your fucking mind. I mean, I dig that about you.
I have a big dick. What are you going to tell me?
Hey, you stuck the landing, bro.
Yeah. So what I did was, I listened to this. So for Funny Degenerate.
Did that just happen?
So you know what the Club Marquee is in Vegas?
I can't think. And everyone's going to say, I can't think because now I'm aroused. It's not true. I can't think because I'm shocked.
All you're thinking of is my dick.
I can't get it out of my head now. Okay, go ahead. No, the marquee. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
So there's a club in Vegas. It's in the Cosmo. It's called Marquee. It's on like one of like the mid floors of the tower.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they used to give me the villas there, and the villas have 3 floors in it, really beautiful, and they have a backyard. In the backyard, when you're sitting in my backyard in my villa, there's a gate. And when I open the gate, I'm in Club Marquee, which is like a pool party, day club, nightclub thing. Yeah. So one time, I was standing on like my 2nd or 3rd floor balcony, and I was butt naked. And I took the $250,000 and covered my dick. Yeah. And Ian took this photo of me. So the whole club is behind me, and I'm just butt naked with $250,000 covering my dick. And so I created the meme, and I sent Funny Degenerate that photo with a couple other funny ones, and it says, dang, what did I type? I typed, I put, I had to get my dick circumcised just so I can get to the cheese. And that was this week, and he just posted it.
Oh my God! Well, they're gonna get a lot of followers probably now too that are gonna go there and follow. So that's good.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I think we've basically have covered it all. Yeah. If you know what I'm saying.
You've seen it all inside
I've
and out.
seen it all inside and out. Listen. You got anything else?
No.
All right, man, we're good. Oh my God, I just can't believe that happened. This is the fucking best job ever, and I don't even get paid. All right. This is the Nick Vertucci Show. I am Nick Vertucci. I'm here with Mikki. That's all I can tell you. Envy out.